Allison Griffin, Head of Marketing at State Farm.
The economy is tough for everyone, and taking a step back and understanding the pain that your customers are currently going through because of a tough environment is really important. We have 19,000 agents across the country, and they understand what's going on in those very unique communities. iHeart has such a broad broadcast reach that is local, connected, and for us to be able to touch customers with a local feel but at a national scale is so efficient and important for us.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to all, from national to local, every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. Not just a media company, iHeartMedia is your access company. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
What's up, everybody? This is Stephen A. Smith, host of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast. Tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at the very least as I bring
We're started.
in the world of sports.
30 seconds.
Business, and I answer your phone calls and respond to your tweets. You'll hear my unfiltered opinions and straight shooter interviews with top celebrities and game changers. All that and more. So listen to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast.
ESPN Asheville is WPEK W225CJ Fairview, WFX Waynesville, an iHeart radio station, the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics. Live from the Ingles studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dog see! Let him on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons. By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God, the Jets killed him.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM. 880 AM 1400, the Sportsocracy, heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to the sportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. Another sunny summer afternoon here in the mountains of western North Carolina. Welcome everybody into the program. I'm live in the Ingles studio, and the mullet is live from Mullet Manor. Did you get the mullet chopped off? I can't see you again.
No, it's still there, but I will tell you this. There is a great chance that it is not going to make it to celebrate its own independence.
It's just, I mean, it gets to a point where it's a little too hot to handle, right?
Well, I mean, right now I actively have at least 11 pounds of hair on my head. And you mix that with the fact that it is somewhere between Satan's forehead and Columbia, South Carolina outside, and the fact that my air conditioner is not working exactly right. I don't know exactly what's going on, but it's a little toasty in Mullet Manor.
Okay. He's ready to shed the pounds from his head anyway.
I had to sleep last night with we have an industrial fan in our house. I can't stand to be hot. Like, if I'm hot, you rest assured I'm not sleeping at all. And
you didn't look like that Facebook meme you sent me the other day.
That's exactly where I was headed.
Oh, good Lord.
That's exactly where I was at. Industrial fan, blowing right at the foot of the bed, right up the old jorts, and
except for there were none.
Correct. And there were, and there was not a lot of sleep that happened here last night.
Yeah. All right. Welcome into the program. As disturbing of a start as that is for everybody who's listening. Here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400, again everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. And seen everywhere on the YouTubes. You can join us in the YouTube chat as well. All you got to do is go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel, and that is your ticket into the chat each and every day. Grand opening of NBA free agency. Woo! Let's go. More importantly, it's Bobby Bonilla Day, and my favorite stat of the day, Bobby Bonilla today getting his $1.19 million annual payout from the New York Mets, will be making more this year than Brock Purdy. At least in base salary.
Bobby Bonilla may be the smartest person that ever lived.
It's the annual day where we celebrate the greatest of the deferred contracts. Well, until the Dodgers contracts come up. Like,
well, it's
whenever
also
they're
the day
going to be
we
paying
celebrate remembering, oh, yeah, Bobby Bonilla's still alive. Because he hasn't been mentioned absolutely nowhere since this day last year.
No. It's the perfect plan. Stay under the radar, and just every year we get to celebrate. I can't wait till the Mets start having like Bobby Bonilla Day in the stadium. It feels like every year they keep kind of glomming onto this, making more and more jokes about it. Whenever we can officially celebrate this day in the stadium, I think is going to be a great day.
But I mean, how do you celebrate Bobby Bonilla Day in the stadium?
Now you got bobbleheads. You know, it's a national joke. You might as well run with the joke too.
Yeah, but you give bobbleheads away for children. And the children are going to go, I have absolutely no idea who this is because he hasn't played on this team in 23 years.
No, see, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's a great historical figure.
So does that mean I could buy a bunch of Luke Combs bobbleheads, cross out the name, and just say they were me?
Absolutely.
All right.
You
probably
most
cheaper than
can
mass producing them. So
yeah, we can get some Drew Carey ones and put my name on it. I'm sure it'll work out. I'm sure there's a caricature one that'll look like me at some point.
I just downloaded a bingo game on my phone. Don't ask. 14 domestic lights. It felt like the thing to do. And the caricature of Drew Carey does look strikingly like you.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean,
I'm
way
having
better
a harder
dressed
time
than
wrapping
you.
my head around. Jeremy was drunk. I'm imagining in a bar at like after midnight, and he goes, "You know what? Bingo.
Bingo.
I want to play some bingo."
Well, I said bingo like 6 times, and I went, I want to play some bingo. And I did. And I did.
Indeed.
And then I was dumbfounded by, holy crap, how is cartoon Drew Carey better dressed than Tank Spencer and looks exactly like him?
We learn new things about you each and every day.
His suit fit. That was step one.
Wow. That felt wrong.
And it didn't have a black belt and brown shoes.
I'm not sure. Hey, look, I don't know these things. This is why you're supposed to educate me.
You'll never live that down as long as we live.
I don't, and I still don't understand what the big deal is. It's a belt and shoes. Who cares what color they are? Let's move on with the world.
Yeah, that's a thing you said.
I can think of more trivial things in the world that are more important.
Like how much money Jalen Smith just got from the Chicago Bulls?
Well, I mean, that's just the NBA doesn't have like real money. They play in monopoly money. I'm convinced because I mean there are dudes that I've never even heard of getting $15 million a year paychecks, and it doesn't even kind of make sense to me.
And they never age well. Every time we talk about these contracts, like 2 years from now, it's the worst contract in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah Hartenstein looking right at you, big dog.
Ooh, that's got Timofey Mozgov written all over it.
I love that dude in a like points per minute fantasy basketball perspective. If you're telling me he's worth $29 million, I feel like I could throw my head in the ring and get 5.
You probably could.
I need a better agent.
Yeah. NBA free agency has opened. There are big names on the move. Paul George is he's now going to be going to Philadelphia. The Spurs are going to get 80-year-old point guard. What's his name?
Chris Paul.
His name just went out of my head. I was thinking Chris Paul.
Hey, they might be getting Lauri Markkanen too, which I feel like Victor Wembanyama's looking around going, okay, I said I needed talent. I didn't say build me a team from NBA 2K18.
Oh, Kevin Love going back to the Miami Heat. Klay Thompson, that's the big question. Where's he going to end up?
Why does anyone care?
Somebody needs a shooter. Right? Any of these championship teams need a shooter. Klay Thompson, he's out here.
He's bona fide. He's a shooter.
Yeah. Dallas, both the LAs and Philadelphia all in the hunt for him. Yeah, it's just crazy to me that the money has gotten so insane with the NBA.
Well, it just, to me,
There's
it
just
feels
no
like
reason.
a non-sustainable business model. Your
course.
ratings go down, and somehow your contracts keep going up. And I don't understand how that works.
That's inflation. It's just cost
Thanks,
of living
Joe.
increases, I guess. I don't know. I do not know how we get here.
I do
$30
need the clip
million
of that
a year.
noise. Whatever that noise was, I need that isolated so I can use it sometimes.
The noise that you just made?
Just the when he Control-Alt-deleted himself.
Yes. I get it. Los Angeles Lakers may end up being the team that goes and gets Klay Thompson, but they're all in all, will it really matter? Najee Marshall. Jeremy, who's Najee Marshall?
He has a 7'1" wingspan. He's a really good on-ball defender. Couldn't hit water off a bridge consistently. But yeah, I had a feeling you were going to ask me about that deal at some point today.
Well, I mean, the guy's getting $10 million a year.
Yeah.
And I have never heard that name before, I don't think.
Derrick Jones Jr. just got $10 million a year. He averaged 7 points a game, and that was a career high. He started more games this year than he had played in any other season. Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure he'll be an apt replacement to Paul George. He'll be just fine.
This is the part that I love more about NBA free agency than anything. I mean, it's more than just watching the big names move teams. While yes, those have some interest for casual fans, to me, it's funnier to read things like free agent center Jonas Valanciunas is a 3-year, $30 million deal with the Washington Wizards. I thought he was out of the league 4 years ago.
Oh, no, he's been in New Orleans doing that thing he does, which is I show up in the first 6 minutes, I score 11 points, have 7 rebounds, and then you don't see me again until the second half. He can only play 6 minutes at a time, and that's worth $30 million.
Yeah, so no, winning, being an NBA player and making it to the league, I mean, that's just guaranteed retirement now. I mean, because you stay long enough, everybody's getting $10 million.
The thing I can't wrap my brain around is where is all this? Where does that money come from? I mean, because you tell me where I'm wrong here. How many times in the history of the NBA has their deciding game in their finals drawn less viewers than this year did? It was 12.2 this year for the deciding game. How many times has the final game in a series drawn less viewers than that?
Once.
It's more than that. I was a little surprised that it was more than that. 2020 was the obvious one in the bubble,
Right.
with the Lakers and the Heat. You also had it in 2007. For whatever reason, that series drew really poorly. I'm not totally sure why, but it did worse. And then there was one more, Spurs Nets in 2003. 2 of the smallest markets in the NBA. That's the only 3.
Wow.
And yet somehow you're giving these big money deals. The model just doesn't seem like it's sustainable.
It hasn't seemed like it's been sustainable for me for a long time. That's one of the disconnects with me. Like, I understand contracts more in every other major sport, I think, than I do the NBA, and how it all works with the cap thresholds and the max contracts and all. There's just so many ins and outs of how deals work and things like bird rights and things. Like, it's so confusing to me to try to keep up with how things are structured in the NBA. Plus, I don't understand the money.
I will say I understand the CBA pretty well, and even the second apron and the tax and the hard cap. And I always said you need to make this easier, and they heard that and went, cool, we'll make it harder.
Yeah, I hear no lies.
We do have an official number from the second round of the NBA draft. We asked this on Friday.
Okay.
How many people, first of all, they moved it up to avoid the presidential debate. That's why it was at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I heard a bunch of conspiracy theories about why they did that. They were trying to avoid the debate. That's the answer. How many people did actually watch the second round of the NBA draft?
Total viewers?
This is the average.
Oh, the average.
I have an average and an average and a peak.
Let's see. Thursday at
4 o'clock.
Wednesday was 4.4 or something like that.
4.41. That was the average.
Say you went 1.7. Massive drop off.
If you doubled the actual number, you'd be way closer than you actually were.
Okay.
It was 895,000. 895,000. There were more people than that at the NFL draft. There were more people in Detroit. We saw them. It was down 20%. 20% from 2022. Down 25% from last year. Hey, you know why? Because you had a leader. Do you know what led into it this year? Malika Andrews talking for an hour about, should Bronny James go at 55 to the Lakers? This is just, it's not that hard. NBA makes it hard.
Yeah.
But it's really not.
What was the lead in?
They did a 2-hour countdown, NBA countdown, where it honestly felt like every time there was a pause in the conversation, they went back to Bronny, right? Because we don't know any of these other dudes are.
When you only have one name in the draft, that's the name you're going to talk about. The bad part for the NBA was it was not worth it because he's not good.
No.
Right? I mean, everybody, I heard so much coverage of the draft that every time you had somebody who was, a respected name in the business, from even Brian Windhorst, who has carried the water for LeBron James forever, Dave McMenamin, let's go, Wojnarowski, any of those guys, they bring on the expert, and it was always like the nicest little tiptoeing around. Well, it'll be a monumental moment for the NBA just to see the development of this young man who has, he can do 2 things. He needs to do 8 things, but he does 2 things right now. And, somebody, namely the Lakers, will draft him. But they're the only ones. I still thought it was hilarious, the Rich Paul thing, where he kept saying that he'll go play elsewhere if anybody else drafts him. And there's no real worries there.
Oh, yeah, he's going to go play in Australia.
Nobody sees the value here.
The humor in that is that's probably, he's probably going to be begging to play in Australia about 2 years from now.
Right. There's only one place Bronny James could go to become a story, and it was with the Los Angeles Lakers. Any other team he goes to, he gets buried, never sees the light of day, goes to the G League, and we never talk about him again. Los Angeles was the only place. But that's the problem that you have in this sport when you don't have any stars that are not professionals already. And you have very few stars that are, I guess, up-and-coming stars in the league currently.
We just have such a the attention span of the average person. And I've detailed this before. I had a professor one time tell me that every 20 years, the attention span of the populace gets cut in half. And I came up in the 2000s. And so music videos had been cut from 5-ish minutes to like 3.5. And that was in the TRL age. Well, now we're down to TikToks. All right, you got 60 seconds basically to keep somebody's attention. Who in this league right now actually does that? Who do you see on a screen walking by a storefront You're in downtown of a city. They've got the televisions out front, and you see NBA highlights happening. Who do you stop and go, oh, I have to watch that?
I don't have an answer for that.
I don't know that there is an answer for that. Because the biggest stars in your game, you have Luka Doncic, who honestly, from a body standpoint, looks strikingly like me. He's a magician with a basketball, but he's not physically impressive. Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's non-American. Luka's non-American. Historically, we don't go all in on non-Americans in sports like this. That's not an opinion, it's just a fact. And you go up and down the ledger and just go, man, the few guys that move the needle, a lot of them are really old. Steph Curry is the same age I am. LeBron James is 2 years older than I am. I could do that for a minute.
Yeah. All of these guys are, you know, your stars of 10 years ago are still here. But do you have anybody that's taking the mantle? We've had this discussion before, right? Steph's not long for the NBA world. He'll be retiring at some point soon. LeBron, same thing. Do you have that next guy? It was all the high hopes for Zion. And there still is. Still very, was he 21, 22 years old? Still got plenty of time.
Kelvin joining our YouTube chat said Ja Morant.
Yeah, Ja's had the rocky start, but
and that's where I would go with Ja Morant. Is okay. So your answer here is a guy that's played a grand total of 70 games in 3 years, 2 years, 2 full years.
Yep.
Was suspended for flashing guns and things like that. We've actually already done this. I don't know if I'm the age of whoever's saying this will. Do you remember the early 2000s in the NBA? You talk about a tough sell. That was a tough sell. And David Stern went, no. We're not doing this. That's when the dress code happened on the sideline, and everybody vilified him for that. He got 10 extra years out of the league. I could argue he got 15 years out of the league. Now, a lot of that was because you had LeBron James, who was the most hyped prospect in the history of the sport. But they reined in a lot of things that were going down a serious rabbit hole. You're not in the same boat there now. The problem is you don't have any stars. You don't have anybody that anybody cares about. I didn't watch you play at Duke. I didn't watch you play at Carolina. And then you get to this point, and this day every year is the day where I go, my God, the average casual sports fan has absolutely no clue who these guys are. Derek Jones and Drew Eubanks, I saw that name earlier.
Yep.
Getting deals. The average fan would not know who that was if they ran into them at the grocery store.
Nope.
You could literally bump into their chest and go, man, that dude's tall, and you'd walk right on past them.
Right. Like, hey, that guy probably played basketball in high school or something.
I bet he's real good in his YMCA league.
Yeah. Little did you know, you just ran into Isaiah Hartenstein.
Who now makes $29 million a year.
Oh. Brutal.
Yay.
It's brutal. And as you've said, it sounds like a pay scale that's a little unsustainable. But the owners still have the money. They'll still be pumping them into the teams, and the sport will continue to, well, hopefully at some point they'll find somebody. Anthony Edwards, to me, seems to be the best option right now of the next hope to get Americans more invested in basketball.
And the bad thing is that he plays in one of the smallest markets in the league.
Yeah, but
he's got two other stars that take away from him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree with what you just said. It's going to be difficult to do.
Of course it is. You're going to have to, because you'll have to win a title first to even see if it'll matter. That's where Jason Tatum's at right now. Jason Tatum's at the point where I just won a title. Is it going to matter? Because I had already built a pretty good start to my career in the NBA. Now with the title, does that mean anything? Does that make me more marketable?
It doesn't hurt.
We'll find out.
But in our YouTube chat, Kelvin's on a roll today. He said this is the reason the league's pushing things internationally. And I totally understand that. There's one great big problem with that. You need in each one of these cities, and just name me any team off the top of your head. I don't care which NBA team it is.
Indiana.
So the Indiana Pacers have a very limited number of sponsors. That was actually the perfect one for what I was trying to get to here. There are a limited number of sponsors that are headquartered close enough to Indianapolis to justify spending that kind of money. You're not going to get that with Domantas Sabonis. You're just not. Tyrese Halliburton will give it to you to a degree. He is regionally famous. Mm-hmm. And there's also a reason that you see guys like that show up at WWE events. And you see them trying to do cross promotions because they know we can't survive on ourselves alone. The next time you go to or watch an NBA game, watch the little thing on the right there where the check-in table is. And you see the advertisements that scroll. Take stock of how many different advertisers you see. I'll give you a hint. It's not many. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of the same ones in every venue. And that's fine. You can survive on Coke money. You can survive on Verizon and companies like that. The problem is that if one of them pulls, you are LMNO screwed because they are such a huge investment in you. And it should also tell you a lot how difficult this television negotiation has been. Everybody wants a piece. Have you noticed that nobody wants all of it? NBC wants their weekend display game back because it's hard to fill weekend television. Mm-hmm. Have you noticed nobody wants that ESPN deal? Have you noticed that TNT deal is what they want because I get 2 games? And so I can really market those. But I don't want that. I have 5 nights a week where I'm playing your product. So that's a hard sell. It's a hard sell to sell the Milwaukee Bucks. Oh, the team's good. Yeah, they're not interesting at all. In any way.
Right.
Who are the 3 most interesting teams in the NBA right now?
Oh, I would say the Celtics, Knicks, and
the Lakers.
I don't know. Well, yeah, Lakers.
The Lakers. Hey, in terms of media market, where do those 3 rank in the NBA? 1, 2, 3. Your 3 most popular teams are the 3 most interesting. You just had your lowest rated finals ever outside of the bubble. Mm-hmm. One of those teams was in it. What do you think that number would be if you got Spurs? Oh, let's see. Spurs Hawks. Good God, you'd throw a Stanley Cup number. It'd be a 5-5.
No. Yes. And you might be lucky to get it there.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM at 1400. We'll be right back.
It's the Marketers Report. Today,
Clear.
and Officer Mark Mentry weighs in on building.
We're just coming back with outside, right?
Capital One has really worked to create amazing access moments for our customers. We will do sound check parties so that only Capital One cardholders can get access to, and we can't pull that off without.
Yeah.
Audio company, iHeart.
Hey, hell, we can take this. We just jam these breaks together.
I think it's a good idea.
If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
The American cowboy is everything that makes this country great.
There's a freedom to being a cowboy.
Being a cowgirl is not a safe, easy path, but it's one that's very rewarding.
The American cowgirl is dedicated to her livestock, she's dedicated to her country, and she's dedicated to her family.
The American cowboy is honest.
We're the backbone of how this country was founded.
There's a whole lot of legacy that goes along with being a cowboy, and I'm honored to be a part of it.
Boot Barn, keep west.
iHeartRadio is the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics. It's the only way to listen to exclusive NBC play-by-play action of Team USA, plus NBC's top Olympic moments, original Summer Games podcasts, and live hourly updates from the games in Paris on the iHeart app. And
so how long does that make this break?
Station. Be sure you have the free iHeart app, the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage.
We are back at 33. If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
My name is Nathaniel Darnell, and this is my Ingalls story. Here at Darnell Farms, we think our fruits and vegetables are some of the best you're going to find. We've been working with Ingalls for years, and the support they give to family farms like ours is outstanding. Right here in the Great Smoky Mountains, next to the Tuckasegee River, we have the perfect place to grow our produce. If you want the best local quality, you cannot do better than Ingalls.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Partly to mostly cloudy through this afternoon with a few scattered showers and thunderstorms as the high hits 86, and then rain should taper off through the evening with clouds and areas of fog overnight and a low dropping down to 70. Not a whole lot of change for Saturday, partly to mostly cloudy. Again, the potential for scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially during the afternoon hours with a high of 86. A little bit warmer wrapping up the weekend on Sunday with
What's your outside storm?
Thunderstorms and a high close to 88 degrees. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by the North Carolina Department of Public Safety. In North Carolina, more than half of all firearm deaths are suicides. If you own a gun, you can make a life-saving difference. Lock it up every time. Visit ncsafe.org to learn more.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Coming back to Las Vegas, September 20th and 21st. Streaming live only on Hulu.
A weekend full of superstar performances.
Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com.
Hey, pool season fanatics, your summer persona is calling. It's time for sun-soaked party scenes at MGM Grand, new luxury cabanas at Bellagio, and sandy beach living at Mandalay Bay. Show off your poolside only with MGM Rewards. Visit MGMRewards.com for details.
Mattress Firm's July 4th sale is your chance to get matched with your coolest Z's yet. Save $500 on Tempur-Breeze mattresses with free and fast delivery. All night cooling, all summer long. Discover the difference the right bed makes. Restrictions apply.
Here's to the helpers. To the ones who grow up knowing that life is about more than finishing first. It's about finishing together. At Ingalls, we know that doing your part doesn't mean doing for yourself. It means doing what you can. Even though you might not seek the spotlight, we see you, and we're grateful. Ingalls. Low prices, love the savings.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. This is JW with Parks Ford Hendersonville, and we are excited to kick off the Parks Promise Community Hero Program. This year, we'll be celebrating nonprofits throughout Western North Carolina that live out our core value to do better and be better for the communities that we serve. There are so many organizations doing amazing things, from being a helpful hand to a soft voice or a warm heart to embrace their neighbors. We can't wait to introduce you to our 2024 Parks Promise Community Heroes. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
It is ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy. Live back in the Ingalls studio. And so last night, Jeremy, there was another award show. I know you were all locked in. You love your award shows.
Can't get enough of them.
Can't get enough of them. Last night was the, what do they call it? Culture's biggest night last night as the BET Awards were held. And, you know, aside from Victoria Monet sweeping the Video of the Year and the BET Her Award for the Best Female Artist. Do you know Victoria Monet?
Nope.
Jeremy? Okay, just curious. You're more up on this scene than I am. Usher did get the Lifetime Achievement Award.
That one I know.
And like all respectful shows, award shows, they have an in memoriam section where they'll flash up all of the stars that we lost in the past year. And at the BET Awards, they highlighted Willie Mays. Obviously, we know Willie. Big impact. Louis Gossett Jr., Carl Weathers, O.J. Simpson. Okay, you guys screwed this up. I don't think this was the way that we needed to. No. Am I wrong on this, or is that not one of those names that we'll just not do that? We'll just pass it by. If you know, you know. But we don't need to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think we needed to point it out.
Yes, O.J. Simpson appears up on the screen with, quote, former NFL player underneath. I just feel like you chose the wrong one there. There are some, like I said, there are some names that we can just go without saying. And I feel like OJ's probably one of those.
Well, I mean, I've said this before, and I'll probably say it again. But whoever decided the order of stars for the in memoriam killed it. My story is about the IFAF World Junior Championships. This is an under-20 football tournament that we play. Didn't know it was a thing until earlier this week.
American football?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kids under 20. You know, as you do, they play football.
Right.
You would think that one country would have a huge advantage in this, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even if you don't get the best and the brightest, I would say our L team should be good enough to win this. It's our thing.
Mm-hmm. You would think.
This year is the 6th time we've played this. How many times do you think we've won it?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say none.
It's twice.
Okay.
We won it in 2009. We won it in 2014. There have been such stars on these teams as Todd Gurley, Jonathan Taylor, a slew of other former NFL players. Well, this was played last week. June 22nd. It was last Saturday, as a matter of fact.
And what is this called?
It's I've lost it now. The World Under 20 Championships, the IFAF. I'm going to say that's International Federation of American Football.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So
round 1, that was last Saturday, we played Panama, and we won 86-12.
Let's go.
Which, sadly enough, was not the biggest victory of the day. Austria beat Canada 41-13. Japan beat Australia 50-6, and Canada beat Brazil 110-0. Canada decided to go full Jeremy playing Madden, and I respect that.
Okay.
I have no problems with the June 22nd results.
Mm-hmm.
We lost to Japan 41-20. How does that happen? We then lost to Panama. What? I mean, I understand that under 20 means that you're getting. I'm going to say you're picking from guys that are not NIL guys in college football. I'll go ahead and tell you, I don't recognize any of these names. I looked at the roster. I don't see a name that I know. how do we not win at the only sport that I can think of that has the country's name in it? It is American football. And we cannot win this.
Oh, my. Huh. I mean, that's worse than us losing in basketball. I mean, I know it's same kind of principle, right? We invented the sport, so we should rule at this, but losing at football feels worse than losing in basketball.
Oh, no doubt. And now I feel like this is, now that we have social media and all of this attention, there's really no rhyme or reason to when this is played. It was played every other year. Then obviously 2020 happened. They didn't play it in 20. They didn't play it in 22. This is the first one in 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like 2 years from now, it's time for the dream team. We bring in the best college sophomores in the country, and we just prove to Canada, who has won this 4 times, what we're all about. I'm starting to rally and cry now. 2026, I'm gonna need the best and the brightest because we can't lose at this.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. The fact that we haven't won the game, or we don't win this year in and year out, and the fact that Canada has three-peated now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of this, and I think we need to have a come to Jesus like we did with the Olympics, right? Like we did with basketball.
Yes.
Okay, now we need to get the pros in. We're losing at this. Let's get the pros.
We have
and
played
pros,
around. You have falafeled around, and it is time for you to find out.
No doubt.
Right? Because Canada's got 2 teams in this thing. I need America 1. I need us to show the rest of the world we are not messing around.
Mm-hmm.
This is our thing, okay?
Oh my! I didn't know this either. So I was trying to find the roster for the team. I've not been able to locate that.
It's difficult to find.
However, I did find the U.S. men's tackle national team coaching staff.
Oh yeah, this is good.
And some local people may be interested to know that the under 20 U.S. men's national team in American football offensive coordinator and wide receivers coach is none other than Manny Matsakis, the former head coach of the Inca Jets. Let's go.
Is that really a thing?
That is really a thing. Manny Matsakis is the offensive coordinator and the wide receivers coach for the national team.
The Pat all right, I'm just going to be 100% honest with you. I had no idea of what you just said. The Pat McAfee show had a great deal of fun with that. They put up the pictures of the coaches. I mean, this was like a total show thing. They were putting their pictures up on the screen, and I remember that name. And when I heard it, I went, that does sound familiar for some reason, but I couldn't put my finger on why.
Oh, yeah. Old Manny Matsakis. Interesting.
This is a new rallying cry for me. We have to win this thing in 2 years.
Yes, we must adopt this and get the best of the best. Because, yeah, now I've found the roster, and you're right. I don't notice any of those names.
No, it's probably like some 4th-string quarterback from Akron.
The quarterback is Anthony Luna from Pico Rivera, California.
Yeah, I need an Arch Manning in there.
Mm-hmm.
Under 20, let's go. The rest of the country's the rest of the world's making fun of us anyway because we're electing 2 dementia patients as our president. We need, all right, we need one thing that we're just going to come in and we're going to chew bubble gum and we're going to falafel stuff up. Nice. And this is it.
Yeah. Olympics, we also had the flag football discussion. Remember, Tyreek Hill said we needed to get a flag football team together.
That's happening, isn't it?
Yeah, but
I think it's coming in 2028.
Hang on. Let me.
I'm pretty sure I'm right on that.
Coming. You may be right about that.
And hey, if that needs to be the one because these under 20 kids are dealing with NIL things, okay.
Yeah, 2028 games in Los Angeles, new sport, flag football.
Flag football. We need Pat Mahomes. We need Tyreek Hill. We need the best and the brightest.
Yeah, our luck, they're going to end up giving us Baker Mayfield and Rashad Bateman and who else? Who else can we throw on this team?
We could pick the worst NFL team humanly possible to represent us in flag football that I still think should beat any country in the world 184-0.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield, Ezekiel Elliott, Todd Heap. I don't know why that name just came to my head, but it did.
Wow.
Darius Slayton, Emmanuel Sanders. I need another random receiver. Most random name that can come to my brain. Wan'Dale Robinson. Let's go.
I feel like he's too good.
I do too. That was literally, it was just the first names that came to my head. And I don't know why I got 2 retired guys and 2 New York Giants. I don't have a good answer to that.
I'm not sure either, but I think you did it wrong because you didn't include Ben Skowronek.
Oh, Ben Skowronek could be the MVP. Ben Skowronek could be out there going full team gets mine, just one-handed catches over. Kadarius Toney, that's the right answer. The last need that we needed.
Although, I mean, I think that at least might get you to turn it on for 2 seconds. If we had actual flag football with Tyreek Hill, you would watch it for.
Oh, I don't need Tyreek Hill. Red C said Andy Isabella. You give me Andy Isabella, I will watch more flag football than I watch of the rest of the Olympics combined. You give me John Skelton as the quarterback, and I'm here for it. The pride of Fordham himself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No interest for you for the Olympics normally, but you throw in a little football, and you could get his eyeballs, and that's all the goal. The Los Angeles Olympics coming up in 2028. We want all the American eyeballs on it.
Yeah, the Olympics doesn't do it for me. That was the one time I would watch baseball, though. I did watch Team USA baseball.
Really?
I did.
Interesting. See, I've never cared about other than the Dream Team, obviously, because everybody watched the Dream Team when they were on in 1992. But other than that, that's the only team sport I've ever cared about. I never watched the soccer. I never watched the baseball, softball, none of that stuff. But, man, I am a sucker for some heat events. You give me some of the swimming, you give me the track and field heat races, I'm all about it. It's a great way to spend a Sunday afternoon when the only other thing to watch is that random golf tournament that's going to be on in the middle of the summer. I did a lot of that yesterday watching the Rocket Mortgage, like flipping through the channels going, I want to watch it, but I don't care because I don't know who Cam Davis is.
Oh, you're talking about what you would rather watch than the Olympics? Or what your other options are?
Yes.
I would rather cut down the B-roll for the O.J. Simpson in memoriam. Just cutting down old Hertz rent-a-car commercials. I'll pass.
Wow. That's impressive.
Oh, yeah. The Olympics does absolutely nothing for me. Oh, look, we get track and field. Okay, so how many times do they have to run around this track again? Because you use damn meters instead of, and like I get it, everybody else uses the metric system. I'm aware of that. We don't, so I don't know what a meter is. I know it's somewhere in the ballpark of a yard. I know they're close to each other.
Yes.
Can we not, I mean, we're airing this in America. For the love of God, can we not get a conversion of how many yards we're running here?
Yeah, but then you're just going to confuse everybody.
You're not going to confuse Americans. Americans are already confused. You got these numbers. I don't know what it means. Some of them have snow skis on for some reason.
Snow skis.
There's a rifle at some point, which I don't at all understand. You're going to confuse people? That's really your argument here? You have sports that aren't sports.
Oh, come on, the shooting, I would think, at least would appeal to part of your nature.
No, I like to shoot myself. I don't want to watch somebody do it. This is the same reason I don't subscribe to OnlyFans. I like to participate. I don't necessarily want to watch. I mean, in certain instances, I do get curious, but
I was going to say that felt like a lie. I mean, at least just a little bit of a lie.
Oh, I would be more likely to start my own than subscribe to anybody else's. So, 100%. Your squeamish stomach means nothing to me. I will enjoy myself 100% of the time, every time. You don't like it? Look away.
We've got what? I know we've got another month before the Olympics gets underway. Actually, it might just be a couple of weeks before the opening ceremonies begin. I feel like I'm contractually obligated to mention once again that iHeartRadio will be your official audio home of the 2024 Paris Olympics.
Tank, I got breaking news.
Oh, breaking news. Love that.
And it's from one of our favorite people.
All right.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
Chris Womack, who has filled in admirably for me multiple times. I actually am just waiting on the day I walk in and his name is on the door, and Tank has replaced me because he's better than me at all of this. He sent me a message that said, I dated a girl whose mom was an Olympic speed walker.
Huh.
Okay. This is something else that Chris is better than me at. If I dated a girl and she said, my mom is an Olympic speed walker, the first thing I would think of would be, at some point, I'm going to have to feign interest in this. Like, she's going to take me to this event, and I'm going to have to sit here and go, yeah! I don't do that so good. I don't do that. So I'd be in the crowd going, just run! Pick your knees up. This is so easy to win.
Can't do that.
I know you'd be disqualified, but at least it'd be funny.
Absolutely. You got to shuffle. You got to do that weird. You got to have the arms up. You got to do the circular motion with both the arms and then swing those hips. That's all you got.
Chris Womack is, and you know, we tear down the fourth wall on this show, unlike virtually any other show you'll ever see. There is no person in sports media that I admire as much as him locally. And it is so funny to see he and I together at events because he is the definition of a professional, and I am the definition of whatever the opposite of a professional is. It looks like Chris brought a hobo with him because we eat at events together all the time. And people walk by and they're so nice to him and they look at me and go, do you have a coffee cup I could put change in? Because that's what I think I need to do for you.
So the official rule is that you can't have 2 feet off the ground at once. It's the difference between a speed walk and a run or a jog.
How do you walk with... Okay.
You have 1 foot on the ground at all times.
Maybe I'm getting ready to show my ignorance and my keister here, but how do you have 2 feet off the ground at the same time? Isn't that jumping? I mean,
when you run, right, and you're like sprinting, there's a moment where no feet are on the ground.
Well, I mean, you don't. I've seen you run. You're the only person I've ever seen that has moments where both feet are on the ground. Because you didn't pick them up high enough.
Yeah, because I forgot. I just couldn't do it. That's the official rule, though. 1 foot on the ground at all times for the speed walking.
Yeah, I can't do the Olympics. And God bless Chris Womack for that. That gave me an opportunity to tell at least 3 jokes. Which I'm not going to lie to you. You know, this being 4th of July week, we're going to get a little loose around here for the next 5 hours.
Yep. 2
today, 3 tomorrow, and then we'll see you after we celebrate America's birthday.
For those of us who are not complete deniers of the Olympic sports, Simone Biles, she did secure her spot. So 3rd Olympics for her. She'll be the oldest gymnast to compete for the U.S. in gymnastics since like the 1950s, and she's what, 26 years old, something like that. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM at 1400. We will pick up the football discussion after the top of the hour.
So we're not going to talk about solo synchronized swimming, which I just found out was a thing?
No. We have to wait until at least the events begin so we can spend some time.
Do you understand what I just said? Solo synchronized swimming.
Yes.
So basically, you're just water dancing. That's. I googled dumbest Olympic sports.
That's a problem. Yeah.
Live pigeon shooting.
Wait, they actually shoot pigeons?
These are former events.
Or is this the clay pigeons?
Poodle clipping. That was actually an Olympic event one time. Let's go.
When?
Paris 1900. Poodle clipping.
What? Of course it was Paris.
Oh, no doubt. They smoked cigarettes underhand. And they clipped their poodles.
Indeed. We're going to take a break. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, before we get fired. We will be back after the top of the hour here. We'll get into the football discussion. We'll talk some Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills, Atlanta Falcons, San Francisco 49ers. There's something all those teams have in common this year. Basically, their seasons pretty much hinge on their quarterbacks. We'll continue with the NFL 2024 previews up next.
The wait is over. Dell Technologies
and you're clear.
and July deals are live. Check out incredible savings on select laptops and more, like the XPS 15, powered by Intel Core processors. The XPS 15 brings you the perfect balance of power and portability, plus stellar visuals and immersive sound. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to exceptional tech and electronics, plus free shipping on everything. Don't miss out on Black Friday and July savings at Dell.com.
Back right at the top.
.com/deals.
I'm Scarlett Johansson. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. You can join the movement to end hunger by donating, volunteering, and advocating. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in his lifetime. For Black men, that stat is 1 in 6. When prostate cancer is caught early, it's highly treatable. But because most men have no symptoms, it's vital to talk to your doctor at your annual visit about prostate cancer screening. Not sure where to start? Go to pcf.org for the help you need to navigate this disease and make the right decisions for yourself. Remember, it's your life. Go to pcf.org today.
With WWNC, you can have traffic reports in your bedroom.
Get the latest traffic updates anywhere you've got a smart speaker.
And find out about your drive before you even get in the car.
News Radio 570 WWNT.
This summer, Dale's Pale Ale salutes freedom. Freedom in fabric, or the fabric of freedom. Denim Dale's available for a limited time in the blue jean box. Dale's salutes everyone who works hard, plays hard, and relaxes hard. Life's more than about what you pack in your dinner. Though we're packing beer, so we win. Seize the Dales. Unwind in style with a cool breeze up the jorts. Just look for the beer in the blue jean box.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Partly to mostly cloudy through this afternoon with a few scattered showers and thunderstorms as the high hits 86, and then rain should taper off through the evening with clouds and areas of fog overnight and a low dropping down to 70. Not a whole lot of change for Saturday, partly to mostly cloudy. Again, the potential for scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially during the afternoon hours with a high of 86. A little bit warmer wrapping up the weekend on Sunday with scattered showers and thunderstorms and a high close to 88 degrees. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Get in the zone. AutoZone. It's time to red, white, and do that job you've been putting off with the AutoZone 4th of July sale. Save on brakes, oil, wash and wax, and more this weekend at AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids in their youth sports. Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Visit trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
So the body knows that it needs to heal itself, but it doesn't know how to concentrate it and target it into just one area. So that's where we come in.
By we, Dr. Ashley Caravelli means the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, QC Kinetics.
We put in those treatments, then it sends out like little signalers to your body. We're able to make the body focus on the areas that need the most
if I had been Chris
QC
Womack
Kinetics has gathered brilliant medical minds like Dr. Caravelli and Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a pioneer in the field of regenerative medicine, to lead the way in these innovative pain treatments.
And I would have been the
we have a whole
loudest,
team working
drunkest,
nationwide with cutting-edge
person in that
research to
entire
reach
crowd.
our patients and treat them and know that surgery is no
I
longer
mean, I'd have been 14 fireballs deep
is
before
free.
the first.
Find out if you're a
foot
candidate. Call
was
QC
eclipsed.
Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
ESPN Asheville is WPEK W225CJ Fairview, WMFX Waynesville, an iHeart radio station, the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics. The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls studio.
It is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. You can take us with you everywhere you go, live or on demand. You can watch us live on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel once you're through to YouTube, and that way you can join us in the chat, get in on the back and forth discussions. You got thoughts on anything we're talking about. You're absolutely free to comment on those and bring up your own topics as well. Who knows when we're going to see something in the chat and just go down an hour-long rabbit hole.
In the first hour, we talked about O.J. Simpson. We talked about American speed walking. And
we found out that
the reference was made.
Right. We found out that the former head coach of the Inca Jets is now the offensive coordinator for the under-20 American football team, which I didn't know existed.
If you had a really bad Sportsocracy bingo card, the first hour was real good for you.
Is it good, though, that you didn't have anything that matched? I thought the idea was to find the matches.
Oh, that would be if you had a bad card. Like you got your card and went, former Inca football coach Todd Heap, American speed walking. I am doomed.
You pulled that one at the beginning on, oh, shoot, they never talk about any of this.
First hour bingo. Let's go.
NBA draft would have been on there as well. NBA free agency. Excuse me.
Drew Eubanks. That would be one that, well, that's never going to. Oh, it did.
And Bobby Bonilla here on Bobby Bonilla Day. Welcome into the program, everybody. If you're just joining us, so the continuing discussions of the offseason in the NFL. Another set of team previews here on today's program. And let's start, Jeremy, with a team that you like to give a lot of shade to. It's the San Francisco 49ers. Once again, we've got Brandon Ayuk back in the news. The story, over the weekend was that he was now telling some podcaster that he absolutely wants to stay with the San Francisco 49ers. They just have not been able to get a contract extension worked out.
Did you see that and immediately think of a phrase? Because I did.
What was that phrase?
Are you sure? Because I'm not so sure.
You're not so sure he wants to be back with San Francisco?
If he does, he's doing it in a very strange way. You know, the Instagram beefs and all of this nonsense, that's not the way to get this done. Not with a competitive team. I mean, you're becoming a distraction, and I won't say becoming, you have become a distraction for a team that has Super Bowl aspirations. I understand wanting to get yours. I don't have an issue with that. But you don't have to play it out in the media this way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, have you heard T. Higgins do any of this? He allegedly requested a trade. He didn't say it. Now, could have been his team that floated it. I don't have a way of knowing that. I would say it probably was.
Mm-hmm.
But has he been on Instagram unfollowing the Bengals and doing all of that? No. That's one of a dozen reasons that if I'm paying one of these two dudes, it would be T. Higgins, not Brandon Ayuk.
Right. I like Brandon Ayuk. I'd still feel like there is a team that will give him top-tier money. Somebody out there will. But while you're in this little space, right, you're still under contract with San Francisco. You say you want to be there. Then I do find it very odd that you're going about this business the way that you have. I completely agree. Playing things out in the media is never the way to go. And it's always going to cause me pause about anybody. There is at no point any talent that doesn't concern me, right? It concerns me with Micah Parsons when he talks like this, or when stories come out that he's dropping little hints on his Facebook or his podcast or whatever about the tumult behind closed doors with the Dallas Cowboys. There is not a single player in the NFL where this doesn't make me feel uneasy. Aaron Rodgers, when he was with the Green Bay Packers. Right? There's no doubting the talent. There's no doubting what he means to the team. But I still don't like it that we're talking about this. Now, if we're still talking about this a couple of weeks into training camp, or God forbid 1 week before the season starts, then it makes me more concerned. Right now, I guess I'm just kind of, this is how the game is played, right? One side leaks out some information, the other side comes back to rebut it in some way, some form, some fashion. While we're this far out, I don't necessarily have a huge problem with it. It's how far does this carry close to the season? If we're still talking about this a week out, or going into the season, we're still talking about an extension with him, then I think it becomes a bigger deal.
Do you see any way that we're not?
I really do not know.
I don't see one. I've heard they're $10 million a year apart.
Okay, so they're at 20 and 30?
Yes. That's just a report. I don't know that to be true.
Mm-hmm.
But it would make a lot of sense.
Then let's meet in the middle and let's get this thing settled. Because you're both at the extremes here. To me, San Francisco's on the low side at 20. And to me, Brandon's on the too high side at 30. Can we meet
he's
right
certainly
in the
on
middle?
the two. Brandon Ayuk's certainly on the too high side. I don't even have to definitively know what the number is. I know he's that number's too high.
Mm-hmm. Question becomes, how big of a distraction does this become, and does it matter to the rest of the team? Like, can this ever be an isolated fight where things are just fine elsewhere? Does this become a problem for San Francisco?
I don't understand why San Francisco has pandered to this as long as they have.
What are they supposed to do?
Trade him.
Just outright trade him?
Mm-hmm. I would have traded him before the draft. I said that back then. Name me the game on their schedule that they will win with Brandon Ayuk, that they will lose without him. I couldn't tell you. There's 2 on the entire schedule that I would even listen to the argument on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Kansas City in San Francisco, Miami in Miami. And I'm not so sure that you're winning either one of those.
Don't necessarily have to have him to beat anybody else. Is that the gist of what you're saying here?
I mean, San Francisco has built this roster, and in the beginning, I didn't have a problem with this. They've built this roster in reverse. We're going to build the roster up to such a point that we're so good at everything that we can plug any bum quarterback in here and at least be competitive. If we get lucky and find one that's both cheap and efficient, we can be really good and contend for Super Bowls. Jimmy Garoppolo, by the time they got to a Super Bowl, was pretty cheap by comparison. Brock Purdy is the best value in all of sports right now.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because he will very quickly be the worst value in all of sports, and that's coming, and it ain't going to take that long. I like that premise. I think you can build a roster that way. It is hard to find quarterbacks in this league, especially when you're never terrible. It's especially hard to do when you trade up to 3 and absolutely woof, as they did. My problem with San Francisco now is that I don't look at your roster from 2 to 53 as greatly better than everybody else. Brock Purdy is not making Brandon Ayuk elite. The weapons on that team make Brandon Ayuk elite. Just ask yourself this question, and I finally came up with an appropriate way to say this. If he went to Washington, do you think he would be successful? Yeah. That's the team that he's been most closely aligned with.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he would be successful.
Why do you think he would be successful?
Well, I mean, he has a rapport with the quarterback, first off, which
there's one
I do
that
think
helps.
Matters.
And you say rapport, they barely know each other, but they were there for 15 minutes together.
They played together, didn't they?
For a
at
year.
Arizona State? Yeah, for a year. That still matters. You're familiar with each other. You know each other.
They know each other. They're comfortable with each
tendencies.
other. That's
Right.
fine.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Terry McLaurin's presence is holding him back.
If I had written down the 3 things I wanted you to say, it was going to be Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, and Austin Eckler. Do you realize that none of those things have anything to do with him? This is the argument I get into with mid-tier receivers all the time. Name me the guy that's not elite, and nobody can convince me Brandon Ayuk's elite. I don't think you would even argue that.
No.
Name me the elite guy that puts up elite numbers with nothing around him. Doesn't exist. Now look at what you actually have in San Francisco. You have an elite running back who is getting perilously close to some numbers that I'm very leery of. 2,500 touches. Christian McCaffrey's at 1,800 right now. He's at 1,800 right now, and he had 3 solid years where he combined for about 250.
Yep.
May have gotten to 300 just because I'm doing the math off the top of my head. He's also 28 years old. George Kittle is a shell of his former self. Do you agree, disagree, think I'm being misleading there?
No, I agree.
He's a roughly 1,000-yard tight end. Hit 65 catches last year and 6 touchdowns. He's good. He's also 30. Deebo Samuel is hurt about every other 15 minutes. He's also getting older. That's where San Francisco's at with this, is that all the things around you, you're going to be expensive, and we're going to have no ability to replace them. You're already on a contract for this year. You're wanting 5 more years. By that time, Kittle will be 36 years old. McCaffrey will probably be out of the league, and Deebo will be 35. As that wears down, do you honestly think a guy that can't stay healthy at 25 is going to be healthy at 35? No, I'm tying myself to something.
Right.
That's the problem. That's the reason they don't want to come off this number. Justin Jefferson's elite. He could have me, you, and 3 people from accounting out there with him. He's still going to get open. Jamar Chase is the same way. Brandon Ayuk is way, way more DJ Moore or Amari Cooper or Deontay Johnson than he's even in the ballpark of Justin Jefferson. And that's it, for me, he's almost like a microcosm of my problem with this roster. They had the best defensive line in football for years, right?
Yep.
Name me the third best guy on that line right now. Nick Bosa's 1, Javard Hargrave's 2. Who's 3?
Leonard Floyd.
Leonard Floyd, who had 10.5 sacks last year. And other than that, was almost completely irrelevant. He had a forced fumble on a sack. He had 21 solo tackles outside of the sacks last year. He was relevant. He was a pass rush specialist. That's all he is. Drake Jackson has not become the player I thought he would. Malik Collins is a jag, just a guy. And I can keep doing that. You don't have that elite defensive line anymore. You get to Yetur Gross-Matos way faster than you want to. Fred Warner, best linebacker in the league. Dre Greenlaw, good, but coming off a horrific injury. Then you get to Devondre Campbell. Hey, you ever seen him play in a 4-3 before? Because I have. I also know it doesn't tend to go very well. I go up and down the roster going, I'm not tying myself to $30 million on Brandon Ayuk.
Yep.
I'm going to have to overpay Brock Purdy, and that money's got to come from somewhere.
And Brandon's the only place that comes from. Because I'm not moving off of anything else. I just re-signed Christian McCaffrey. Just gave him new money. I'm stuck at Debo, which it always sounds bad when I say that. It's not like I'm throwing shade at Debo that he's not wasn't worth what they paid him. I mean, remember when we were talking about that, I was all about paying him, but that's because you got to be available. Right? You got to be available and you got to do all the things that I need you to do. Remember when he was talking about I don't want to be the gadget guy anymore. I don't want to do both jobs. I don't want to do the, what did they call him, the wide back position where I'm running the ball out of the backfield a lot. Sorry, that's what makes you a $30 million guy. But only if you're available. And then the fact that he wasn't available last year and Brandon Ayuk stepped up and ended up taking some of the spotlight at the end of the season, he's riding the wave right now because he's the hot commodity. Or at least he thinks he is, and his agent thinks he is.
All right, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Taking the contracts into it, name me the player on this roster that if San Francisco just said, you know what, the build is broken, we can't win this way. Name me the guy that teams would be jumping up and down to go get. Nick Bosa's obvious. I think Fred Warner's obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Then what?
Then after that, who would teams go after?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, Christian McCaffrey.
I don't know that there's a team in the league that would take that contract on.
Really?
No.
Even with the numbers that he's put up.
Okay, the numbers are fine. He's 28 years old, and he's coming across a 1 year from now, he will be at a plateau that no running back has come out appropriately on the backside, and he's injury-prone anyway.
Mm-hmm.
All right, name me the team. Who's going to give up what it would cost? He got a 2, a 3, and a 4 from San Francisco 2 years ago. That was before the contract was, I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't as long, and it wasn't going to go into just complete albatross like this one will. This one, I guarantee you it's going to end poorly on the backside. He'll be over 3,000 touches by the time that deal ends. Oh, we can do it for a year? Yep, and you're going to be in cap hell for 4.
Yep.
Yep, NFL teams don't tend to do that.
Yep.
Charvarius Ward, yep, we would do that. Trent Williams at $31 million. You think a lot of teams are lining up to do that? He's got money that runs into 2027. He'll be 40 years old, and they'll still be paying him.
Yep.
And look, he's, if not the best, he's one of the best left tackles in the league. What happens when he falls off the cliff? You think a lot of high-end teams would trade rosters right now with 49ers? Because I don't. Do you think and I'll just go down the teams that I think are legit Super Bowl contenders. Would the Kansas City Chiefs trade rosters with the 49ers right now? Take the quarterback out of it. 2 to 53, would I trade rosters with you right now?
No.
No. With the Detroit Lions?
No.
With the Philadelphia Eagles?
No.
With the New York Jets?
No.
With the Baltimore Ravens?
No.
That's my point. Every one of these guys is paid, and no team in the NFL would take it off your hands. You want to cut through nonsense? Ask yourself that question. Oh, we're better than them. Would they trade their roster for yours? No. And you know what almost every team I just said had in common? They have a better quarterback than you do. This is the same thing I say about these NBA contracts. It's non-sustainable. Because you have a lot of guys that are teetering on a cliff. One goes off. Let's say Trent Williams' play falls off significantly. Guess what? Your offensive line sucks. Straight up. That's as nicely as I can say it. If you don't have the best left tackle in the league, your offensive line is awful. Receiver core. George Kittle, all of a sudden at 30 years old, can't stay healthy. You got two dudes. Two dudes, one of them's injury prone and one of them's unhappy. McCaffrey. Oh, well, that takes a big dynamic away from the offense. I can do that at every position on that roster.
Mm-hmm.
And if two of them happen, may God have mercy on your soul. You could be 5-12 before you, and your head would spin so quickly doing it, and I would sit here and go, yep, that's exactly how I thought that was going to go. Mm-hmm. You'll be competitive until you're not.
Yep. Or if you stay competitive, it'll start that narrative of, oh, look what Kyle Shanahan has done despite all of the injuries, much like I feel like has been the case for 2 out of the last 3 years. Constantly talking about the injuries on this team and, oh, they're still competitive. Yeah, they're still competitive, but are you ultimately competitive?
Oh, you can win the god-awful NFC. I don't think you can now. I think now you're third or fourth in line, and that's not even factoring in the Rams, who I think are way closer to you than other people do.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like San Francisco's jumped the shark, and nobody wants to acknowledge it. They've been good for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You believe in their quarterback. This is a house of cards, and it's not built all that stably.
Which raises a great question about the future of the San Francisco 49ers. Chaz threw this out in the YouTube comments. We'll actually take a break, and then we'll get to his question up next, talking about the San Francisco 49ers and, well, whether or not they can get it done this year.
2 guys, 5 rings.
All right, we're clear.
Essential podcast
Thank
for
you.
the 2024 Paris Olympics. Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers host a new podcast that's all about the athletes.
You gotta get your head in the game, as Zac Efron once said.
And the culture.
Not French.
Well,
I have no association with the nation of France. But you did live in Montreal.
Of the 2024 Paris Olympics. Listen to 2 Guys, 5 Rings on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app. Search 2 Guys, 5 Rings and start listening.
Ew. Gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in 1 wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
Why is Navage perfect for allergy sufferers? Rhino Systems Medical Director Dr. Howard Levine explains.
If someone's exposed to allergens, they can get rid of those immediately by washing out the nose. Navage works by pulling saline in one nostril, through the nose and out the other nostril, sucking out allergens, mucus, dust, and germs. Experience on-the-spot relief so you could breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier.
Navage is available at Sam's Club, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or online at Navage.com. Navage. Breathe easy.
First News on 570 with Mark Starling.
Well, this is it. We've arrived. We're getting Rosie the Robot from the Jetsons. It's finally happened. What's the price tag on this thing?
So the Ricci Starter Kit gives you the body, the head, and 1 arm.
Wait, 1 arm? What kind of loaded crap is this?
It is $19,900
crap! How much for the Lieutenant Dan version? Can I get one that's got no leg?
Weekday mornings at 6 on News Radio 570 WWNC.
Here's to the helpers. To the ones who grow up knowing that life is about more than finishing first. It's about finishing together. At Ingalls, we know that doing your part doesn't mean doing for yourself. It means doing what you can. Even though you might not seek the spotlight, we see you, and we're grateful. Ingalls. Low prices. Love the savings.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
This summer, Dale's Pale Ale salutes freedom. Freedom in fabric, or the fabric of freedom. Denim Dales available for a limited time in the blue jean box. Dale's salutes everyone who works hard, plays hard, and relaxes hard. Life's more than about what you pack in your denim. Though we're packing beer, so we win. Seize the Dales. Unwind in style with a cool breeze up the jorts. Just look for the beer in the blue jean box.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
We're back on ESPN Asheville. Sportsocracy live every weekday noon to 3. Right here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. Normal weeks when we work full weeks. Basically during
Can we say
season.
Normal weeks when we haven't done one of those in a full fortnight of weeks?
Yeah, during football season. We'll do all the full weeks.
So normal is football season.
Yes, during the summer, it's pretty much anytime we get an excuse to take a day off. And hey, it's a holiday week. Not only is it the Independence Day holiday coming up this week, but HWA's birthday is this week as well.
And my dad's birthday. They're on back-to-back days.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
Mullet Senior is July 5th, and HWA she shares her birthday with America.
Nice.
She gets fireworks for her birthday every year.
Wow. No reason that's the reason she's so spoiled, right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, she doesn't get fireworks the other 364 days of the year because she's married to me. That's a sparkler at best, folks. That's a sparkler at best.
Yeah. A little unimpressive bottle rocket action there. A
mortar without a wick. I lit it, but sorry. No good can come from what I was getting ready to say.
No, not at all. The San Francisco 49ers looking to, continue to capitalize on their championship window here. Let's get to another Super Bowl, win another NFC championship, and maybe the third time will be the charm once we get to the Super Bowl. The chances of that happening, obviously not great, but also the chances of the Kansas City Chiefs winning 3 titles in a row, not great either, but we all still feel like that's a pretty good possibility. So I feel like San Francisco's got as good a shot as anybody to get back to a Super Bowl. The question that was asked in the YouTube comments by Ches says, so if the Niners season hinges on their quarterback, then they better start looking at top 10 picks next year. Obviously, not a great believer in Brock Purdy, but then goes on to say, so if CMC goes down, and this is a terrible team, as you were saying, Jeremy, then do they draft a quarterback?
To me, the Brock Purdy contract thing is arguably the most interesting storyline in the NFL for the next 2 years. Because I can't figure out what to pay him. I can't figure out what the market for him would be. I can't figure out who would be jumping up and down to – if he were to hit the open market, what happens?
You don't think there'll be suitors if he hits the open market?
I didn't say there wouldn't be suitors. That's not my that wasn't my point there.
Okay.
If he hits the open market, what do the contracts on the open market look like? All right, so he would be at the end of 25.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think teams would be jumping all over themselves to pay him $50 million a year? Because I don't.
I don't know. If he has another season like he had last year, where the statistics and the efficiency numbers are so high, then maybe. Maybe there's a team that goes out there and gives him that kind of money.
Okay.
Because if your name is being mentioned in the same sentences as guys like Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes when it comes to things like QBR and stuff, that typically does translate to money, doesn't it?
It would translate to money. I just can't wrap my brain around who's going to be out there that both has the money and has the need. I don't see it.
Mm-hmm. The Las Vegas Raiders would not be looking to bring him in if he hits the market.
I'm not saying they wouldn't, but at what number?
Mm-hmm. I'm talking like that $50 million. You don't think that that's something that they would consider, especially
I don't.
Especially if he leads them back again. Right? If San Francisco is better than you say, they don't have a problem with injuries. They roll through the West. They end up making it to another Super Bowl. First off, I don't think there's a chance that he's getting out of that building. San Francisco would have no options.
I really don't either. I think you're stuck.
Yes. He leads you to another Super Bowl. There are no options. You have to bring him back. But I think you could be in a bidding war. Could he hit the open market?
I'm just not sure with who that would be with. You just look around the league. You had 6 teams take high-end quarterbacks this year.
Mm-hmm.
Then you look at the 10-ish teams that are completely locked in. All right, so you're at the dregs of the league, basically.
Yes.
Am I really worried about getting into a bidding war with the New York Giants? Really? That's what I'm scared of. That the Giants are going to come in here and give him $50 million. Or the
Broncos.
The Broncos was another one that I had considered, but they just drafted a quarterback. It's hard to tap out on a guy 2 years in. He'd have to be awful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I basically get to the Raiders, the Titans, maybe the Browns, the Steelers, the Giants. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers might have realized the error of their ways by then.
That'll be the last year of Baker.
And Seattle. And the Rams. That was a very weird noise.
Mm-hmm. All of them. I can see all of them being interested.
And so I guess my point is, if a team comes along and is willing to give him $50 million, okay, I'm indemnified now. He's not worth $50 million. If you really want a house, and you look at the house and the house is worth $300,000, and somebody comes along and bids $750,000, it's not a smart fiduciary, and there's another bingo word that I didn't think I'd be able to get in today.
There you go.
It's not a smart decision to go, I'll just pay $750 anyway. Well, no, now you have a $300,000 house that your mortgage payment's twice as much as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I feel like San Francisco gets to. Is that they look around the roster and go, you know what? We got a 2-year window. He is cheap for 2 years. Yeah, we're going to have to pay him, but we don't have to pay him like that. And if that's what he wants, I'll let him walk out the door. The thing that I've never heard anybody say with him, I don't think he's going to ask for that. I really don't. And I know that might be short-sighted, and maybe I'm getting duped here, but Brock Purdy strikes me as the kind of guy that he's got the situational awareness of, I'm not this high-level prospect. I fit in this system. This system will make me a lot of money for a long time. And if I go to New York, I'm going to get killed.
Mm-hmm.
And I could be wrong on that. I've been wrong before. But I could easily see him going, hey, that deal Baker Mayfield got, let's do that.
I would like to believe that. I would like to believe that, but I don't. I guess the next time I see it will be the first time I see it from somebody other than Tom Brady. I just don't feel like that's really in play. And I don't feel like that your handlers, the people in business with you, will let that happen either. Right? There's so many people involved in these decisions now with, agents and the PA and such. Like, if you're worth that, you kind of have to go out and get that.
Well, the agent works
because of everybody else.
The agent works for me, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to take this deal with San Francisco, I can look at my agent and go get it done. I don't want to leave San Francisco, go get it done. And now there might be some, back channel negotiations there where you got to pay to keep the agent happy. But what you just said about a quarterback taking less money, I'll say the same thing about an agent walking away from a quarterback. 7% of $35 million a year is still a substantial payday.
True. Absolutely it is. I just don't know the inner workings of those discussions, but I do feel like there is some of that goes on when a quarterback is up for a big contract possibly. You don't normally hear about them going, yeah, I'll play for $20 million less than I'm worth.
Do you not see the irony?
Because at that point, go ahead.
Do you not see the irony of the comparison between Tua Tagovailoa and Brock Purdy?
What do you mean?
They play in the same system.
Okay.
One of them got the one of them got the Ninja Turtle, and one of them got the Master Splinter. All right, Kyle Shanahan's Splinter, Donatello down there in Miami. We learned the same stuff. I don't know a soul that wants to see Tua Tagovailoa get top of the market money. Not one. You'd almost be laughed at for saying it. Brock Purdy, it's heresy to say he wouldn't. It's the same system. You got two quarterbacks putting up video game numbers in the same system. Is that not weird to you? Two completely different prospects, two completely different players, two completely different views of what they are. You know what the difference is? One of them was a top of the draft pick. One was a top 5 guy, Tua Tagovailoa, and he's never shown to really be that guy. He can put up video game numbers. Brock Purdy was the last pick in the draft. It's all perception. If Brock Purdy had gone 5, would we be having the same discussions about him right now? Well, of course they're not going to pay him. He can't win at the highest level. Oh, he's won some games in the playoffs, but he beat the Cowboys. Whoa. He beat the Cowboys, and he beat Jordan Love. And he was getting his brains beat out by the Lions until the Lions fell apart like a deck of cards.
Mm-hmm.
And what do we do when Trent Williams retires and George Kittle ages out and the defense isn't? I just think it's funny we have two completely different conversations about the exact same guy.
Here's the thing. I think they're all getting paid. Tua's going to get paid. Dak will get paid. Brock will get paid. When Trevor Lawrence just got paid and hasn't proved to be that generational player, but he's getting top of the market money.
Trevor Lawrence is the best quarterback in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's not even close.
Sure. Congratulations.
There's a huge difference there.
Is there?
There's a huge difference in those two things. Jacksonville was a doormat for 20 years, outside of 2 catch lightning in a bottle years. Other than that, you were the worst franchise in the league. You had to pay Trevor Lawrence. He's the savior of the franchise. Brock Purdy is not the savior of the San Francisco 49ers. Tua Tagovailoa is not the savior of the Miami Dolphins. Dak Prescott is not the savior of the Dallas Cowboys. That's a whole different conversation. You know what? We get into that after the break.
Okay.
The perception of franchises and how it changes what you do in these situations.
All right. We'll get into it after the break here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400.
This is your
You're clear.
weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Thank you.
Partly to mostly cloudy through this afternoon with a few scattered showers and thunderstorms as the high hits 86, and then rain should taper off through the evening with clouds and areas of fog overnight and a low dropping down to 70. Not a whole lot of change for Saturday, partly to mostly cloudy. Again, the potential for scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially during the afternoon hours with a high of 86. A little bit warmer wrapping up the weekend on Sunday with scattered showers and thunderstorms and a high close to 88 degrees. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by First Restoration Services.
Disasters at home from floods, fires, or storm is a homeowner's worst nightmare. It pays to have a professional on your side, and that's exactly what you get with First Restoration Services. They've built their business off trust, integrity, speed, and quality. Learn more online at FRS247.com.
In today's Marketers Report, Kate Cronin, Chief Brand Officer of Moderna, weighs in on the speed of audio production.
In this day and age, and particularly at Moderna, where we have new information coming out on a regular basis, being able to feed that information to the audio format makes being nimble and pivoting easy, and that's what I really like about it.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, influencers, insights, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
Join the Tortured Poets Department in London this summer. City of Hope wants to send you and a guest to London to see Taylor Swift for back-to-back concert dates at Wembley Stadium. Cost for entry is only $13, but all proceeds go to benefit City of Hope, one of the top cancer research and treatment centers in the U.S. Technically, it can be free to enter, but who doesn't want the good karma of donating to help cure cancer? Go to Prizeo.com/Taylor Swift to enter to win and support City of Hope.
The free iHeart app has hundreds of unique stations just for the music you're into, like Slippery When Wet, Hairband Rock 24/7. Open the app, search Slippery When Wet, and start listening. Free never sounded so good.
My name is Nathaniel Darnell, and this is my Ingalls story. Here at Darnell Farms, we think our fruits and vegetables are some of the best you're going to find. We've been working with Ingalls for years, and the support they give to family farms like ours is outstanding. Right here in the Great Smoky Mountains, next to the Tuckasegee River, we have the perfect place to grow our produce. If you want the best local quality, you cannot do better than Ingalls.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com, your one-stop custom apparel shops.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
Back in the Sportsocracy, this is ESPN Asheville, and time to get weird. Jeremy, one of the statements that actually sounds like something that I might say after winning the lottery. A Tennessee man has won $1 million off a scratch-off ticket that he bought just across the border in Kentucky. It was in Addersville, Kentucky, where he went in and got a $20 scratch-off ticket. And as he's scratching it off, he looks up to the clerk, and he says, you know what? If I hit the $1 million, I'm never eating bologna again. And then guess what happened? He hit the $1 million, matched the prizes, all three in a row right on the top line, show his $1 million prize, and he immediately went back to his son's house across the border there in Kentucky. They got together, decided that, okay, first thing, Monday morning, we're going to take this to the office in Lexington, cash it all in. Said he spent the weekend just calmly hanging around the house, mowing his grass. Would you be able to have a normal, calm weekend if you on Friday scratched off $1 million? I don't think I could.
No, I'm going to go with no. I would say my bank balance at the end of that weekend is going to be about 14 cents, Bob.
He's spending every dollar he has.
I'm going to have every ounce of fun that my current situation will allow, and then I'm going to hang out with my new friends.
Although I do believe that I could stick to that. I'll never eat bologna again.
I've never had a piece of bologna as it sits, so that wouldn't be hard for me.
Still just weird to me, but
it's a cold hot dog. I don't want a cold hot dog. I want a hot dog with ketchup and mustard and all the happiness on it. My dad loves bologna. I don't get it. I think it smells weird. I think it looks weird. It has the same pigment as like a freshly shorn Chihuahua, and I'm good.
So glad you decided to go Chihuahua on that one.
Well, now that you mention it, it's not good. I don't get the. Ugh.
Yeah. I love bologna.
It's not for
But
me.
if I was a millionaire, I think I could shed the bologna. Or at least I'll eat the good bologna, the stuff that you buy right out of the deli.
I'm completely repulsed by bologna in and of itself, and yet my story is more repulsive to me even than yours.
Really?
It's about a woman in Ohio. She ordered some wares from Victoria's Secret, $400 worth, which when I get to the end of this story, maybe I'm dumb here, but I didn't know these things were this expensive. Woman orders $400 worth of items from Victoria's Secret. Package is not at her door. They tell her it was delivered. They have the little picture. The only problem is that the picture is not of her house. It's of her neighbor's house. So she contacts the neighbor. Neighbor says, I don't know what you're talking about. So she takes the next step as you would expect her to take. She called the police.
Yep.
Police show up on the other woman's doorstep. She just completely plays dumb. No idea. Maybe a porch pirate took it. I don't know, but I don't have your item. Well, what she didn't know is that the police had the picture of the wares on her front porch.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went back and forth for an extended period of time and this is all on body cam. The video's on Twitter. It is absolutely hilarious, especially when we get to the end of this particular scenario, because they find the package in her house. I don't know if they got a warrant. I skipped through this, so I'm not 100% sure if they got a warrant. Somehow they end up in her house. They find the package, and she finds 4 of the 5 underoos that were supposed to be in this package. But she can't find the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Care to take a stab at why she can't find the 5th?
Because she was wearing them.
Because she was wearing them.
Yeah.
And at the end of the video, she asks, ask her if it's a pink pair of underwear. This is as they are putting handcuffs on her. Ask her if it's a pink pair of underwear. Ask her. I'm wearing them. Come on, ask her if it's a pink pair of underwear. I'll take them off. Ew.
If I was gonna, if I were that person and I were a terrible person stealing other people's packages, I think I would have tried to get away and put them all on at the same time. Just get rid of the pack. I would look like Joey in that Friends episode.
Yeah, I'm wearing all your clothes.
That's right. I'm wearing all your clothes. Just put all 5 pairs of the panties on and hide them, and then hey, there you go.
Well, here's the problem with your scenario, Tank. This tells me that you've never been arrested, because when you get to the county jail, they get awful up close and personal with you. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if you fought for 2 hours that you didn't have these and they find out that you're wearing all 5 of them, that's going to be an unpleasant few minutes.
Well, I mean, it's right. We've already erred here. We've already violated the law. And what's lying going to do?
Well, what's it going to do?
Increase the charges a little bit, but
I don't know.
I'm already going to jail. So.
I don't know. Maybe, they tell Matilda, the intake officer at the county jail, that you lied to them, and now your cavity search, they're going to make sure you're not hiding the 6th pair in your liver. That's what I would be worried of, personally. I don't
but
want
there
anybody.
were only 5 pairs that were ordered, ma'am.
I only ordered 5. Yeah, but they might have sent a 6th. Gonna need to check.
We're looking for the receipt.
Yeah, it's it's glove day, and we're gonna make sure you don't have this. Old Dr. Woo Woo.
Nice. All right, no, thank you.
Oh, Officer Woo Woo. I don't want to meet Officer Woo Woo.
You take that Super Bowl ring off, we'll talk. Trevor Lawrence got $55 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I mean, that sets the market. Everybody else is now going to want that kind of money. Dak Prescott, Tua Tagovailoa, Brock Purdy.
Okay, so of the 3 quarterbacks you just said, tell me which one you would take over Trevor Lawrence right now. You're starting a franchise. You got to take one of them. You're telling me it's not Trevor.
I would take Trevor.
Of course you would take Trevor. You know why you would take Trevor? Let's see. How do I say this delicately? Because you're not a moron. Anybody said, I'll take Brock Purdy, I'd go, well, I'm glad you're not running my team, because that's the dumbest thing I'll hear all day. And I just told a story about a woman stealing panty breeches that she was wearing. So, you say it sets the market. Well, it does, except for the fact that you're talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville had no choice. You've been irrelevant for the better part of your existence. Dallas Cowboys haven't.
Nope.
San Francisco 49ers haven't.
Nope.
Miami Dolphins haven't. Irrelevant. Worst team in the NFL.
They've been closer to that way more often than they have contender since the 80s.
Yeah. And in the 70s and 80s, this was the best team in professional football.
Sure. Before I was born.
Okay. Jacksonville's never had that.
Sure.
They had a 3-year stretch where they won 11, 11, and 14 games. That was in the first 5 years they were a franchise. Do you realize they've never won double-digit games in back-to-back seasons since?
Makes sense.
I'll go one step further. Do you realize that since 2000, the Jacksonville Jaguars have gone consecutive seasons without a losing record exactly twice? 04 to 06, they went 9-7, 12-4, 8-8. The last 2 years, they've gone 9-8 twice. Other than that, they've had a losing year every other year at least. I'm stuck. I had to pay Trevor. This was the savior of the franchise. He has done nothing to say he is not. He hasn't done much to say that he is, but he hasn't diminished the prospect he is. If Trevor Lawrence hit the open market, teams would have been throwing $65 and $70 million at him. And I don't think that's even debatable. He was this great prospect. That's a horrid franchise. We'll get him in our building, and he will turn into the player that we all thought he would be. If Tua Tagovailoa, Brock Purdy, and Dak Prescott all 3 hit the market at the same time, what happens?
Nobody's getting that money.
Nobody will touch $50 million. I'll just flex on to the next one. There's only so many places that both have the money and a quarterback need. And none of you are worth that. There's not one quarterback in that trio that's worth $50 million. And I just look at San Francisco. I look at Dallas. Dallas is the easiest one. I don't see a path Dak Prescott's the quarterback there past this year. He can't be franchised. There seems to be enough animus there that I don't think you're going to be able to ease that in 1 year. And I don't think he can be good enough to ease that. He was arguably the best quarterback in the NFL for 14 weeks last year. That wasn't enough for Jerry to go, I'll give him what he wants. So he does it a second time and now you come off of it? I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Especially in a year that you're going to end up firing your coach. Most likely.
Well, see, that's the big problem that all of these teams have is what if they do it again? Right? What if Dak does do it again? What if Tua does it again? What if Brock Purdy does it again? All 3 of those guys, I think they were 1, 2, and 3 last year in like QBR or something. They're all at the top of the league. At one point, all of them had been talked about in talking head MVP discussions, right? So if they do it again, is this not building your case for having that money? Because every time a new deal gets signed, the basement moves a little bit. And now for these guys, I feel like in 2 years, that's where we're going to be. The base money is going to be $50.
Okay, regardless. When you say base money, what do you mean base money?
Like that's the average for a decent starter salary.
Well, right now, how many quarterbacks in the NFL make $50 million a year?
What is it? 4, 5?
6.
6 of them?
Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Jared Goff, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
You have another 8 that make 40. You have 3 that make 30. You have 1 that makes 25. All the rest of them are below 13.5.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. So you're saying 50 is the baseline. You're leaving out a word for a veteran. I can easily spin the wheel of destiny with a quarterback. I can do it anytime I want to. Half the league is doing it at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Dallas is going to be satisfied with paying another 4 or 5 years of Dak Prescott that can get us to the playoffs and we get smoked. I don't think San Francisco is going to overpay because that's just not what they do. That's an organization that's never really done that. I mean, I'm going all the way back to, okay, Joe Montana. Joe wants to keep playing. Well, we have your replacement.
Mm-hmm.
He's right here. Over the course of the last 40 years, San Francisco's had a fantastic to Hall of Fame level quarterback way more often than they haven't. And I guess in my head, that's the difference between winning franchises and losing franchises.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco and Dallas are not going to get hijacked by a quarterback. I don't think Miami will either. If you're the guy, I'll pay you. If you're not the guy, I'll go find the guy. Because guys want to play quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Guys want to play quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. And spare me there's 32 jobs in the NFL. I get that. Yeah, that works out great for Sam Darnold. Elite guys have an option. It's San Francisco and Dallas. And now with the weapons Miami has, I would say they're not far off of it either. We're the pretty girl here. I don't have to settle for the dumpy dude with a joke book in his back pocket. I'm getting the star quarterback, or I'll go by myself and enjoy it. I'll enjoy being courted.
Now the money's getting crazy, not only for the NBA, as we talked about in the first hour. Their free agency numbers crazy, but as the numbers continue to climb and the salary cap continues to climb in the NFL, those numbers are going to keep, the records are going to keep getting broken. And what once was record money won't be in a couple of years. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
Find what you love.
And we're clear.
Thank you. Nikola Jokic is working to get Russell Westbrook on the Nuggets. Awesome.
Because why?
To piss me off.
What you find.
Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. B21.
Is arthritic joint pain keeping you from doing the things you love? Bone-on-bone pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulder? There are exciting new cellular therapies that can get you lasting relief. QC Kinetics is helping patients like you every day. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine, cutting-edge treatments that accelerate your own body's healing properties.
Back right at the top.
Move again. If you're living with chronic pain from arthritis or injury, you need to know steroids and surgery and pain pills are no longer your only option. Learn how QC Kinetics can treat the pain, enhance your joints, restore your mobility, and give you long-term relief with no downtime. The local medical professionals at QC Kinetics are ready to help you get your life back with regenerative, restorative cellular treatments for your achy joints. In Asheville and in Greenville, call for a free consultation now. 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
Don't let dental pain ruin your day. Let Asheville Smiles Cosmetic and Family Dentistry find relief and get you back to smiling comfortably. You can read all about Dr. Rebecca Merrill, all the services they offer online at AshevilleSmiles.com. They are more than just general family dentistry, y'all. They offer cosmetic surgery, dental veneers, Invisalign, dental implants, emergency care, sleep apnea screenings, dentures, Botox, and so much more. Find out more online at AshevilleSmiles.com, a world-class dental care with a hometown feel.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. This is JW with Parks Ford Hendersonville, and we are excited to kick off the Parks Promise Community Hero Program. This year, we'll be celebrating nonprofits throughout Western North Carolina that live out our core value to do better and be better for the communities that we serve. There are so many organizations doing amazing things, from being a helpful hand to a soft voice or a warm heart to embrace their neighbors. We can't wait to introduce you to our 2024 Parks Promise Community Heroes. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Partly to mostly cloudy through this afternoon with a few scattered showers and thunderstorms as the high hits 86, and then rain should taper off through the evening with clouds and areas of fog overnight and a low dropping down to 70. Not a whole lot of change for Saturday, partly to mostly cloudy. Again, the potential for scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially during the afternoon hours with a high of 86. A little bit warmer wrapping up the weekend on Sunday with scattered showers and thunderstorms and a high close to 88 degrees. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by First Restoration Services.
Disasters at home from floods, fires, or storm is a homeowner's worst nightmare. It pays to have a professional on your side, and that's exactly what you get with First Restoration Services. They've built their business off trust, integrity, speed, and quality. Learn more online at FRS247.com.
First News on 570.
Saint Dolly Parton, don't care what the Pope says.
You don't pick on Dolly.
He's not the only one that can crown saints in this world. I got news for you. That woman's a saint, and anybody online that's talking negative about her, there's a special place in hell for you.
Weekday mornings at 6.
Nothing Dolly Parton has ever done has ever been wrong. Ever. Right? Brooke Bolins agrees with me.
Yeah.
Is this
I
the
mean,
last
anybody
commercial?
that says anything bad about Dolly is welcome to say hello to the back.
Yes.
570 WWNC.
ESPN Asheville is WPEK W225CJ Fairview, WMFX Waynesville, an iHeart radio station, the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics. The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingles studio.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM at 1400. The last hour of the next last day of the week here in the Sportsocracy with the holiday coming. Yeah, it's a short week for us as well. We'll be back with you for a full 3 hours tomorrow, and then we'll return with you after the Independence Day holiday. So hope everybody has a great holiday week planned. If you're hitting the road, be sure that you are being safe out there, minding your speed, because there's a lot of patrolmen out there on those interstates. Just watch out for that. Out and about this weekend, Jeremy, did you notice that as well?
I didn't leave much.
Oh, he didn't get out.
No, I actually detailed the 2 times that I left the house. I went to my parents to fix something with their computers. I'm not real sure what I fixed. They weren't connecting for some reason. And I went to the grocery store. That was it. Oh, and I went to the bar, but that's like right below my house. So
I was out and about quite a bit this weekend, and let me just tell you, they're everywhere. All right, that holiday booze it and lose it campaign, check your speed, check your seatbelts, whatever campaign is going on is in full swing. So be careful if you are traveling out and about. Be safe, and of course, never, ever, ever drink and drive.
And wear your seatbelt. It's not that hard.
Yes.
Yeah, they're in every car. It's important. Just
they put it there. Yeah, they put it there for a reason, to keep you safe.
Just click it or tick it. See, it rhymes. It's easy to remember.
It is. Apparently, breaking news in the NBA: Boston Celtics are up for sale. That's an interesting little headline there.
Yeah, they won another title and went, and I'm out.
Right.
Look, I'm just going to be honest with you. NBA team right now is not a great investment.
You wouldn't be interested?
Oh, God, no. I'd rather have 25% of an NFL team than 100% of an NBA team.
Right.
Did you see Matt?
And if you're going to end up having to pay $4 billion for one,
did you see the bill for Matt Ishbia's team this year between contract and luxury tax?
I did not.
$642 million.
Wow,
that's what that Suns roster costs him in actual tangible doll hairs.
Jeez,
I'm good.
Mm-hmm. And what did you get out of it?
Oh, that's for the upcoming year.
Oh, that's for the coming year.
It was.
And
it was
what
in the
are you going to get out
last year?
Yeah, so Boston Celtics up for sale. The majority ownership group planning to make that available. They'll probably get $4 billion for it too.
Oh, it'll be a lot. It's not a full share. The group's not for sale. It's just Grossbeck's share. It's the majority share, but it's still just a share.
Ah, okay. So this is just half.
It's more than
a little over half of the ownership stake.
You would be the what is it they call those? It's not a chairman. They have a stupid name for that. I'll think of it in a minute.
The governor.
Governor. That's
the
it.
Governorship.
I was thinking congressman, representative. Nope. I know it's something political.
It's the gubernatorial campaign. Where the Phoenix Suns went for $4 billion. You had the Bucks go for 3.5. The Dallas Mavericks went for 3.5. So a 51% stake of the Boston Celtics, I would say, should go for roughly 2.5. I mean, aside from the Los Angeles Lakers, there's not another franchise that would be worth having in the NBA. Am I incorrect in that? Is there another one that I'm not thinking of?
No.
Would you put the Knicks close to that?
The Knicks would be close because you get MSG.
Well, yeah. You number one media market. You got the property as well. You got a pretty good team now.
Oh, I do have to say, I'm glad you said that because I actually have to say something. It's not nice about Jimmy Dolan, but he is involved. Did you happen to see any of the NHL draft?
No.
They did it in the Sphere out in Vegas.
Mm-hmm. I saw more of the WNBA draft than I saw of the NHL draft.
We should do every draft at the Sphere. It was insane. They had stuff playing on those screens, and there was a trade horn. Every time a trade happened, the whole place like shook. It was crazy.
Wow.
I saw it on. I just so happened to see it on television, passing by, and I stopped and watched it. And I went, I have no idea who any of these guys are, but I did sit there and watch it for a few minutes.
Interesting.
If they did the NFL draft there, good Lord have mercy. First of all, you and I might not come back.
What, just because we'll get kidnapped in Vegas?
Maybe. You certainly would. Me, I'm much safer. If for nothing else, because I'll use you as a bargaining chip.
Oh.
You let me get back in that truck, and I'll let you have bobblehead Drew Carey right here. Just one-time offer.
Glad to know where I stand with Jeremy. He gets in one little bit of trouble, and I'm getting human trafficked. Thanks. Appreciate that. That's what friends are for.
Oh, that wasn't trouble. That was a homeless guy was squeegeeing my the truck window to get him to stop. There you go.
Just here you go. You can have him.
But wipe that truck window off with your newspaper. Just go.
No, but I did spend Saturday night watching the UFC 303, which was a lot of fun. And during that, they talked about how they're getting ready to have a UFC fight night or pay-per-view coming up in the Sphere.
Oh,
that can be very interesting.
303, your co-main event pulled out, 3 hours before the fight started? Yeah, I'll pass.
Yeah, that was... It was crazy, but they had a great backup plan.
They always do. I'll give
that
Dana White
Dan
that.
Ige fight was pretty good. knowing that Dan Ige took that fight with Lopez on 4 hours' notice, I think he said.
Yep.
And then the fight with Pereira and Prochazka was, well, I mean, it didn't go well for Yuri Prochazka, but the legend of Alex Pereira continues to grow.
Dana White.
Did you at least see the knockout?
I did.
He knocked him into next Wednesday.
Dana White has built a business where the names outside of a few headliners don't really matter. And that is about as sustainable of a business as you'll ever see. Because there are only a few guys that sell premier tickets. Everybody else, it's like you watch them because they're on. And they've got a really good base of people that watch fights because they're on.
Yes, every weekend I will tune in every time there's a pay-per-view. I don't do the fight night things because you're never getting a star effort on the fight nights. Or very rarely, I'll say. Sometimes they'll have a good main event on fight nights. But most of the time, for the pay-per-views, it really doesn't matter who's on the card. Because, I mean, I feel like this has been 3 or 4 of them in a row, or maybe 4 out of the last 5 or 6, where things like this have happened. On fight day, you never know. Or the Thursday going in, somebody gets hurt. Here you go. We're just grasping at straws, and it never disappoints. I don't feel like they ever have to make that last-minute selection, and they go, here's Dan Smith. It's usually a name you know. And I love it when the guys don't take forever to fight. Right? Pereira's been in for 2 years, I think. He's been in UFC for the last 2 years. He's already fought 8 times. That's the kind of fighting game that I want to see. I don't want guys that just fight every 6 months. I understand the recovery time and the, holding a camp and preparing for your fight and all of that. I get that those things are important in some cases. But I don't want to have to wait so long to see the stars. I feel like that's one of the benefits, or not benefits, but the biggest hurdles that the UFC has. And the fight game in general is that the stars just can't fight all the time. All right, let's get back to football. Jeremy, the Kansas City Chiefs. Can they do what no one has been able to do before? 3 in a row sounds crazy when you think of anybody else. But are we ready to just believe that it can happen?
Oh, I'm not going to doubt it. I would say I'm not betting on it.
No.
Solely because of, Kansas City's got some of the same things going on that San Francisco does. Of you have atrophy with the roster year in and year out because there's just churn. You look at that secondary now, there are way more questions there now than there have ever been before. But I still believe in it. I saw a stat from PFF that I think it was 3 of the top 10 corners in the league going into this year that allowed the least open percentage by percentage of snaps were the 3 starting corners of the Kansas City Chiefs. They had 1, 2, and 8. And that's the difference. For me, that's the difference. There's 2 differences between San Francisco and Kansas City. One has an elite quarterback. One has a system quarterback. One has arguably the best drafting front office in the league. One of them has John Lynch. John Lynch, who I would put in the bottom 5 in terms of drafters in this league. Kansas City just hits. I mean, I'm looking at that left tackle battle between Wanya Morris and Kingsley Suamatea. One of them's going to win out, and one of them's going to be fine. I mean, am I happy that you lost, that you don't have a left tackle over there that I feel really great about? No. But I've also seen you do this a couple dozen times.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's making that decision, right? Brett Veach has to make that decision year in and year out of, okay, I'm already spending big money on a defensive tackle. I'm already spending big money on a tight end, on a quarterback, all of these things. I can't just keep spending big money at every position. So over time, I have to make the call on where can we fudge a little? Where can we, not fudge, but where can we make up the difference? L'Jarius Sneed was one that, well, we got 3 really good young cornerbacks. We got one that's a ready-made superstar in Trent McDuffie. And they nailed those other 2 picks with Josh Williams and Jalen Watson.
Well, I mean, just look how many corners they took. You know, in 22, they took McDuffie and Joshua Williams. They also took Brian Cook, who's a starting safety on this team.
Mm-hmm.
The year after that, they took Jamari Connor. They added Jalen Watson. I think he was an undrafted guy, I think. Or no, he wasn't. They got Jalen Watson in the same draft with Williams and McDuffie.
Yeah, he was a 7th rounder.
They drafted 3 corners in 1 year. You know why? Because they knew. They looked 2 years ahead. This is what San Francisco does not do. 2 years ahead, I know I'm going to need blank. Offensive tackle, same thing. Took Wanya Morris in 2023, took Kingsley Suamatea this year.
Yep.
One of them's going to win. One of them's not going to play. Now, that one may slide over to right tackle and they figure out, well, this money we're paying Jawan Taylor could be better if it was set on fire.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how you have to build a roster. It's what Baltimore's done forever. You can always tell with the Baltimore Ravens who they're getting ready to let go because they'll add 4 guys that play that position between draft picks and undrafted free agents in the 2 years directly preceding to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like clockwork.
Yeah. It's precisely the same thing that happened when they had to make the call on Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
I got to make the call on Tyreek Hill. I'm not spending $30 million on him. I just can't afford to. I've got to go out and find places to save money.
And now just understand, with Tyreek Hill, they did the same thing, and they missed over and over and over again. In a 5-year period, they drafted Tremont Smith, Mecole Hardman, Cornell Powell, Sky Moore, and then they finally got one right with Rashee Rice. It didn't matter.
But how much did that matter because the quarterback was in place?
It also didn't matter because they were adding a veteran every single year, just like they did with Hollywood Brown.
Yep.
Because they knew we can get a value. There are so many receivers in this league, even if we miss, we'll be fine. We have an elite quarterback that makes good receivers great, makes average receivers good. It's fine. I can survive that way. But that's how you have to build a roster. If you're going to be a year-in, year-out contender, you have to be able to keep funneling the pipeline with players that can fill slot. Linebacker was had been a pretty consistent problem for Kansas City for a lot of years. Do you realize that they went 3 or 4 years in a row with using premier capital on linebackers? We'll get it right eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And they did. Leo Chenal was a home run. We said that the minute the pick came down. Of course you just did that. Nick Bolton, that was a home run. The second the pick came down.
Mm-hmm.
That was a guy that we were talking about at the end of the first round. You got him at the end of the second. Oh, and by the way, he played right down the road from where your stadium is. You probably had better eyes on him than any team in the league. Star.
If this team falters, your opinion, where do they fall short? What can they not do that they need to do to win?
I feel like they've thrown a lot at the defensive line, and I'm not sure that it's actually good.
That's where I'm at.
I'm not sure it's actually good. The thing is that the 7 behind them are so good that I think it'll probably make up for it. Everybody's worried about the secondary. I'm not. I feel like Trent McDuffie's an elite corner, and I feel like you have 2 more good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Jones makes up for a lot of ills.
It's the pass rush for me. I don't know what to expect from that. I mean, I know what I'm getting from Chris Jones, but aside from that, it feels like a patchwork front to me. And I think that could be your biggest problem.
Well,
still going to win games, still going to win your division, still going to go, deep into the playoffs. But if you're not going to repeat, that might be the reason why, because you can't get after the quarterback and apply the proper pressure to make it matter when it counts in playoff time.
Well, and the thing I would argue with the defensive line is there are some names there that they're not household names, but they're fine. I mean, and I'm going to go super deep divey here. Bob Sutton was the defensive coordinator for this team before. His name just went right out of my head. Spagnuolo. Do you know who Mike Pennell is?
Name sounds familiar.
He's a backup defensive tackle. He played with the Jets years and years ago, who played the same vague kind of system because Bob Sutton had been their defensive coordinator, and then they went through some changes after the Rex Ryan era. Mike Pennell's the backup defensive tackle for the Chiefs. We look for a kind of guy, a kind of player, and I need a veteran. There's nobody listening to this show that really would lock in on Mike Pennell, but that's the reason this works. If something happens to Derek Nottie, Pennell can slide right in. Is he going to be a star? No, but he'll be propped up by Chris Jones. George Karlaftis and Felix Anudike-Uzomah, they're both really good pass rushers. I don't know that either one is good enough to be a consistent down-in, down-out starter in the NFL. But together, they make a pretty formidable team there on the left side. And then they have two veterans on the other side, with Mike Dana and Charles Omenihu. I can just rotate them in. And eventually, I'm going to wear you down because I have a slew of guys that play my way. Good teams do that. Bad teams throw darts at a board and see what sticks. And eventually that catches up to you.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Can Kansas City do it again? Trying to go for the three-peat. And then, of course, just continuing to keep Patrick Mahomes on the GOAT discussion forever and always, which I feel like we're already past that point. We're never not going to be able to have another discussion about him without having the GOAT discussion, but it is what it is. When we come back from the break, we'll talk about maybe one of those teams. Maybe this is an example of one of those teams just kind of throwing stuff against the wall. We'll talk about the Buffalo Bills next.
2 guys, 5.
And we're clear.
One essential podcast for the 2024 Paris Olympics. Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers host a new podcast that's all about the athletes.
You gotta get your head in the game, as Zac Efron once said.
And the culture.
Not French.
Well,
no association with the nation of France. But you did live in Montreal.
Of the 2024 Paris Olympics. Listen to 2 Guys, 5 Rings on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app, search 2 Guys, 5 Rings, and start listening.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old. But I am a camping influencer. You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
In this week's Marketers Report, Angela Zepeda, CMO Hyundai Motor America, talks about audio storytelling.
People scratch their heads and say, why would you put your brand on a channel that doesn't show the sheet metal? But for us, it's about storytelling. That's driving a lot of brand awareness, but we can also drive a lot of intent.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the influencers, audiences, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
iHeartRadio is the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics. It's the only way to listen to exclusive NBC play-by-play action of Team USA, plus NBC's top Olympic moments, original Summer Games podcasts, and live hourly updates from the games in Paris on the iHeart app and right here on this station. Be sure you have the free iHeart app, the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics.
iHeartRadio.
This summer, Dale's Pale Ale salutes freedom. Freedom in fabric, or the fabric of freedom. Denim Dale's available for a limited time in the blue jean box. Dale's salutes everyone who works hard, plays hard, and relaxes hard. Life's more than about what you pack in your denim. Though we're packing beer, so we win. Seize the Dales. Unwind in style, with a cool breeze up the jorts. Just look for the beer in the blue jean box.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
Here's to the helpers. To the ones who grow up knowing that life is about more than finishing first. It's about finishing together. At Ingalls, we know that doing your part doesn't mean doing for yourself. It means doing what you can. Even though you might not seek the spotlight, we see you, and we're grateful. Ingalls. Low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man!
We're back in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Thanks, Spencer. Coming to you live from the Ingalls studio. Low prices, love the savings. Jeremy, once again, live from Mullet Manor. I don't have a cool, catchy catchphrase for Mullet Manor. I think you should come up with some branding.
I could do that. I mean, probably not anything I could say on the radio because the first three things came to my mind, I certainly can't say.
Well, let's keep it clean. Let's keep it, at least PG-12-ish for the kids.
Because I'll just take off the business in the front, party in the back, and you could assume where I was headed from that.
Yeah, we can kind of figure out where you wanted to go with that. We're all glad that you didn't. Talking about team previews for the 2024 NFL season. The Buffalo Bills, we've talked on and off about what's to come for Josh Allen and the Bills. And are we going to, are we, is it too much of a knee-jerk reaction to say that this looks like this could be the start of another, I'll say, gap in Buffalo Bills history, where I don't know that you've lost the contender window, and I'm not sure what you're competing for now. I'm not sure how high your high side can be.
Well, as long as you have a quarterback that's as good as Josh Allen, you're always going to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you a competitor? Not for a Super Bowl. I don't think your roster's good enough. Your schedule's too difficult. You just think about the teams that we really have high-end belief in this year. I think Buffalo plays every single one of them. Kansas City, San Francisco, two teams we started this with. Yeah, they play them both. They play at the Rams. They play at the Lions. Obviously, they play the Jets twice, the Dolphins twice, at the Texans, at the Ravens. Even a Jacksonville team that I think will be scrappy. At Seattle, who I like a lot. Indianapolis, who could be tough. Tennessee, who could be tough. There's not a lot of cakewalks on this schedule. And one of the things I always look at is how many good – the Colin Cowherd line is how many good quarterbacks do you play? I more look at how many good quarterback-coach combinations do you play. And it's a lot. It's practically every single week. You're either getting an offensive coach with a good quarterback or you're getting a really good coach. There's not many mediocre to bottom half of the league coaches on this list. And I don't believe in Sean McDermott enough. It would be one thing if you had Andy Reid. Andy Reid has put duct tape on some mediocre situations. I don't think Opie Taylor's doing that.
Buffalo is a team that you've always had, or at least in the last, 3 years, right, since Stephon Diggs joined up with Josh Allen, and you started owning this division, basically. The problem that I've had with it is that I don't believe in McDermott as a great coach. I have never really believed in anything else outside of Stephon Diggs and your quarterback. Tight end pieces. You've had some defensive pieces, but they can never stay healthy, and they're all too old now. I've felt like for years Josh Allen has been the reason that they're just good enough to be as good as they were. And now that you take away the star receiver, you don't have anything coming in to step in to that void. I know how much you love Keon Coleman.
I do love Keon Coleman.
But he's not that guy. He's not a Stephon Diggs. He's not a one. And without him, I think you continue to be. This is the Miami Dolphins. This is the Miami Dolphins with Dan Marino. Is that you're winning 10, 11 games every year. Awesome. Then what? And it never did. And it never did pan out. And I think I can fully see that being the narrative here for the rest of Josh Allen's career. Of, man, he's a great quarterback, and this team won a lot of games. What did you really gain out of all of it?
I'm going to make a sweeping declaration with Buffalo.
Okay,
because I think, at least how I see this, I think you're worried about the wrong things here.
Okay.
And it's not just you. I hear this a lot. All right, in terms of weapons, when you have a quarterback like Josh Allen that is as good as he is, especially with his feet, and in all reality, Dalton Kincaid is really your one. Keon Coleman's really your two. Then you get into like Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir, James Cook is really good out of the backfield. It's not the weapons that I'm worried about. I don't think you have a defense. The defense, to me, takes 5 steps back. But I don't know exactly what it is I'm supposed to be able to count on. I think your secondary is just flat out bad. You had 2 safeties back there that, they were special. And now they're both gone. I like Terrell Bernard a lot. But there's not really much around him that I trust all that much. I like Matt Milano, but I also know he's going to get hurt. The defensive line has never been thinner than it is right now. And you're paying Von Miller like he's a star, and he's really not. He's a star name. He's not a star player. And so that's where the weapons come in to me, is that I feel like defensively you're not going to be able to hold teams under 20 points consistently, which means that now the weapons have to be able to win shootouts. And I don't think you can do that. If the defense was better and this was where you were 3 or 4 years ago, I wouldn't care about the weapons really at all. Because if we're being 100% honest right now, take Rashee Rice out of Kansas City. Do you really like Kansas City's weapons all that much better than you like what Buffalo's got?
With Marquise Brown?
Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, who can't catch.
Yeah, I do. At least
I don't.
At least Marquise Brown, I like way better than anything Buffalo's got.
And to me, Hollywood Brown and Keon Coleman are a wash. They're 2 completely different kinds of player. But, you're talking about a 50 reception a year guy. That's who you're jumping up and down about. Yeah, he had that 191 catch year with Baltimore. He also averaged one of the most dumbfounding stats I think you'll ever hear. Hollywood Brown's a deep threat, right? That's what he does. He really takes the top off.
Yeah.
Do you know he's never averaged above 13.5 yards per reception in a year?
Really?
Not one time. And he's been markedly below that for 3 solid years. Do I really think he's going to come into Kansas City and all of a sudden be something he's never been before? No. I know you like the name, and he's intoxicatingly fast. That's really all you're getting here. That's not a good weapon. The difference is that I do look at that secondary in Kansas City and just go, if you get into a track meet with me, I'm going to turn you over. I'm going to turn you over, and you're not going to have the ability to do it to me. Meanwhile, in Buffalo, I've got Josh Allen, the turnover machine, and a defense that I don't think is going to force that many. That's not a recipe for winning football games.
No, it never has been a recipe for winning football games, and nobody's better at turning the ball over than Josh Allen.
Stephen Dow had a good line as the Baltimore Raven representative of this here program. There's a reason Hollywood's a journeyman already. He just came off his rookie deal. He's already on his third team.
Mm-hmm.
5 years, he's already played for 2. His 6th year, he'll play for a third. There's a reason for that. And then you go down that list, there's not that many that are impressive. Outside of Rashee Rice, I'll go ahead and tell you, there's not one that's impressive. Oh, Xavier Worthy's really fast. Okay. Mecole Hardman's really fast. Okay. That's just how good Pat Mahomes is.
I agree.
I have a weird feeling, and you may say I'm overreacting to this. I feel like the brain trust of the Bills have to be looking around at this point going, we have stayed stagnant or stepped back 3 years in a row. The Dolphins have stepped forward every year. The Jets, talent-wise, are exponentially better than they were 3 years ago, and New England's not going to be down forever. If I had to bet on a coach to get fired that wasn't named Mike McCarthy, I would take Sean McDermott, and I would bet literally every dollar I've ever made on it.
I fully agree with that.
I don't know what can he do that doesn't put that on the table. I mean, if they go 10-7 and they're the 7th seed in the AFC, do you not think we're at least talking about that?
Absolutely. We're talking about him, and not only him, but we're also having the discussion of what else do we need to put around Josh Allen to make this work if it doesn't go that far. If it's a terrible year, there's no shot that he's obviously going to be retained by them. But anything short of winning this division when you're not supposed to, he's getting fired. They will turn a new leaf. I have no doubt about that. I feel like they already wanted to fire him, but you just couldn't at this point.
All right, so we said Buffalo would have to. If you went 10-7, we'd be talking about it. Do you realize what they have to do just to get to 10-7? Have you looked at who they play on the road?
Yes.
Obviously, you get the 3 in the division, so that's the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
That is not 3 easy games to win. Even New England, it is not easy to go to Foxborough, and that game is the 5th day of January. Their other road games are at Baltimore, at Houston, at Seattle, at Indianapolis, at the Rams, at the Lions. I could make the argument that they will be a dog in every single game I just said.
Even against Indy?
Look at what the record's going to be going into that.
True.
I mean, ahead of Indianapolis, they'll have played Miami twice, Seattle, Tennessee, at the Jets, at the Texans, at the Ravens, the Jaguars, and the Cardinals. There is a possibility that they go into that game at 3-6. And yeah, 3-6 going into Indy, you'd probably be a dog. I think this sets up to be an absolute bloodletting. And you've got a ready-made replacement on that staff. I don't know that Sean McDermott makes it out of the year. I could see him getting fired during the season.
If they were to start out 3-6 or something with that tough schedule, I could see it.
Well, I mean, and they did them a bit of a solid because their bye week's in between the Chiefs and the 49ers. So just, take the journey with me here.
Mm-hmm.
That's week 11. If this team is, I'll be kind here. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, I can't find a way that they're going to win 5 of these games. But let's say they're 5-6 and they get absolutely just their brains beat out at home against Kansas City. Because I didn't even talk about that. They'd play Kansas City and San Francisco in their building.
Mm-hmm.
You get your brains beat out heading into the bye week and you're 5-6. It's talked about. And if you're worse than that, you got a lot of Bills fans that are really angry that you missed a window. You start hearing, we did it again. We're no longer that team. This is just like what happened with Kelly and all those guys. We had the roster together.
Yep.
and then we fell into the abyss. Especially if it's a lot of it's on the defense, which is McDermott's baby at this point.
Yeah, I honestly do think that's coming.
I do too.
I think there is an implosion coming here from Buffalo, and yeah, I'd be ticked off if I were a Buffalo Bills fan. Because, yeah, we had a window. We had a window where we could have, well, I don't know what you would have done differently. Probably not sign, Von Miller for $30 million a year.
The Von Miller deal was that was the beginning of the end. You went all in.
Mm-hmm.
You went
and
all
he
in,
immediately got hurt.
And then bad things happened as soon as you did.
Yeah. I hated that deal when they announced it. And I kept trying to do the math like, wait a minute, 6 more years, he's going to be 42 years old. And I get with void years and all of that, but that's still stupid money to give to a guy who is right on the cusp of falling off the face of the earth. And then guess what? Injuries creep up. He didn't have any sacks last year. What are you getting for what you invested in him? And that was supposed to be the win now, go get it move. But your entire roster has basically been kneecapped with age,
and here's the bad
with attrition, all of it.
And here's the bad thing. You're already over the cap for next year. They're already over the cap for next year. And I don't think this is even in the ballpark of a Super Bowl contending team.
No. Hey, speaking of nobody not being in the ballpark of contending for a Super Bowl, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Atlanta Falcons, because that's exactly where they are.
This is your Exergen Temple Scanner weather forecast on...
All right, you're clear.
Thank you.
Partly to mostly cloudy through this afternoon with a few scattered showers and thunderstorms as the high hits 86, and then rain should taper off through the evening with clouds and areas of fog overnight and a low dropping down to 70. Not a whole lot of change for Saturday, partly to mostly cloudy. Again, the potential for scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially during the afternoon hours with a high of 86. A little bit warmer wrapping up the weekend on Sunday with scattered showers and thunderstorms and a high close to 88 degrees. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by First Restoration Services.
Fire, flood, wind damage, arguably a homeowner's worst nightmare. For nearly 4 decades, First Restoration Services has been helping people recover from disasters with trust, integrity, speed, and quality. If you have a disaster, call them today. 1-800-537-6151 or online at FRS247.com.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Coming back to Las Vegas, September 20th and 21st. Streaming live only on Hulu.
A weekend full of superstar performances.
Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com. That's AXS.com.
Capital One is the proud presenting partner of the 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, bringing great products, rewards, and services to its customers. What's in your wallet?
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Does every mother count? Because not every mother survives. Last year, in the U.S. alone, 1,200 moms died from complications of pregnancy and childbirth, and the risk of dying is 3 times greater for Black women in the U.S. compared to white women, making the U.S. one of the most dangerous high-resource countries in the world to give birth. Join Every Mother Counts at everymothercounts.org to help ensure that everyone has timely access to quality, respectful, and equitable maternity care. If we all come together, we can ensure that every mother really does count.
My name is Nathaniel Darnell, and this is my Ingalls story. Here at Darnell Farms, we think our fruits and vegetables are some of the best you're going to find. We've been working with Ingalls for years, and the support they give to family farms like ours is outstanding. Right here in the Great Smoky Mountains, next to the Tuckasegee River, we have the perfect place to grow our produce. If you want the best local quality, you cannot do better than Ingalls.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call.
I was just talking here in the studio that I think it should be Nicholas Batum still getting $5 million a year from somebody in the NBA,
or Klay Thompson getting $13 million a year.
We love teachers so much. We're giving back 25% of our commission.
Yeah.
Contact us today at 828-77.
But hey, Charlotte gets Josh Green, so there you go.
UNC at
I don't know who that is, but apparently he's a guy.
the Parks Promise. This is JW with Parks Ford Hendersonville.
He's at
We are
played at
excited
Arizona,
to kick
I
off the
think.
Parks Promise Community Hero Program. This year we'll be celebrating nonprofits throughout Western North Carolina that live out our core value to do better and be better for the communities that we serve. There are so many organizations doing amazing things, from being a helpful hand to a soft voice or a warm heart to embrace their neighbors. We can't wait to introduce you to our 2024 Parks Promise Community Heroes. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Back in the Sportsocracy, time for the most important message of the day, Jeremy Greene.
Don't do crimes.
And for the crimes, no, this is one of those cases where no charges have been filed, but I feel like there's room for this to occur somewhere in this story. It gets pretty hot around here, right? And we know that when summer warm weather comes around, you don't ever leave like animals or children in your cars, correct?
Correct.
Right, like we don't do that. We're running a whole bunch of PSAs right now on these here iHeartRadio airwaves talking about don't leave your kids in the car, check the back seat, come up with a funny little song if you have to make you remember to check that there are children or a child still could be in your back seat.
Our mobile studio from Parks Ford gives you a little alert to tell you to check things in the back seat.
Nice.
It'll also do your taxes and many other features. Not all features come standard on.
Right. Well, maybe this needs to be a standard feature. The hey, check for a child in school buses. There's a story from Vermilion Parish, Louisiana. A 5-year-old girl got left on the bus. This wasn't, back in January or even in seasonably warm April. This was last Thursday. She was going to summer school. Which 5-year-old girl going to summer school? I didn't know that they did summer school that young. But anyway, maybe it's just like a camp program or something. My kids went to those. You have like a reading camp or something at the school for the first part of the day. Helps out the parents a little bit. So maybe that's the deal here. 5-year-old girl gets on the bus. She goes to school. I don't know if she fell asleep or what. She just didn't get off the bus when all the other kids got off the bus. They left her locked inside the bus for 5 hours. They arrived at the school at 7:30. She never got off. And then they found her right before they were to let out for the day at 12:30 in the afternoon. Thankfully, she's not harmed. That's the most important part of the story. However, it's the back part of the story where it says, yeah, okay, we messed up all of the things from the school system. But then when the mom starts talking about it, she says, if we hadn't asked, we never would have known. Like, it was the kid that they said, hey, how was your day? And the kid said, I had a bad day. I got stuck on the bus. Okay, what do you mean you got stuck on the bus? Like, I'm thinking for a minute or two, right? Somebody shut the door behind me and, okay, I'm stuck on the bus. And then when they found out that it was 5 hours she was stuck on this bus and no one from the school said a thing about it. I feel like that should be something a parent should be clued in on. If your child accidentally gets left on a bus for hours, regardless of if they're harmed or not, that seems to be something I would want to know. Investigation is ongoing right now. I'm sure there will be people that lose their jobs, but I also feel like that probably falls close to a crimes category as well.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
Tank, who is the biggest bust in NFL history?
Jamarcus Russell.
That is exactly the name I was looking for. Did you know he was a coach at a high school in Alabama?
I did not.
Well, he was
teaching Wonderlicks?
No, he wasn't teaching anything. He was coaching how to play quarterback at Williamson High School, which is where he went. Well, You know, a couple years ago, Jamarcus Russell went on a media tour saying, I was dealt a bad hand by the Raiders. You don't really know anything about me. Everybody talks smack about me, and you don't know. Okay. And that's all well and good. You know, Ryan Leaf did this same thing, and he actually has made a second career for himself. He fills in for Dan Patrick, doing a lot of radio. He's had a nice second act. I don't think Jamarcus Russell is going to have that. So, donation was made to the high school, Williamson High School, $74,000. I don't know what genius decided they were going to hand this check to Jamarcus Russell. I don't know, and I feel like honestly, you should lose your $74,000 for being this stupid.
Yep.
Well, he took the check and he took it to a credit union, Navigator Credit Union. And somehow convinced them to deposit the check in his account, with which he took $55,000 out. Never made it to the school. Just went straight in his bank account. It was for new uniforms and to buy equipment for their weight room. You know, you being a bum quarterback, I can forgive that. There's been a lot of dudes that were super talented, super immature, came in the league, things just went sideways. You having your issues with drugs and different things, I'm not a moralist. I don't really care. The fact that they gave you DVDs of the playbook and you said, oh, yeah, they were great and they were blank. All of these things actually happened with Jamarcus Russell.
Yes.
But to take thousands of dollars away from the high school you went to, which was donated for jerseys and athletic equipment, that to me puts you on a list of biggest jackass on the planet. I mean, and maybe that's just me, but for you to go on this parade of you don't know who I am, I was dealt a bad hand, I'm much better than you think. And then to do this after you made over $40 million in the NFL?
Wait, what?
Jamarcus Russell made $40+ million in the NFL.
I've never heard that number thrown out before, and that makes me feel uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Yikes.
He made over $40 million. That was before they had the rookie scale.
Right.
I think his contract was for $50-some-odd million, and they got out of the last handful of years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just... You're a bad dude. That's all there is to it. You're a bad dude.
Absolutely.
And no more chances for you.
No. You stealing from a high school program that's next level. That's next level crimes.
Especially when it was a school that gave you a job as a coach. Like, this is a school you went to. That, to me, I don't know why that makes it worse, but it does.
Mm-hmm. All right, Jeremy, last preview of the day. The Atlanta Falcons.
You and I disagree on this team quite vehemently.
I slipped them into this category because the question is, can your quarterback get it done for you? Was your quarterback the last piece that you needed to be a division contender?
Well, I mean, it helps when you play in the worst division in the NFL by 11 miles.
When you said we disagree here, what do you mean we disagree here?
I feel like you look at Atlanta as just another team in a bad division. Fact or fiction?
Yeah, fact.
Yeah, to me, they're the best team in this division, and it's really not all that close. Roster-wise, this is the best roster in this division by light years.
Mm-hmm.
You have the best offensive line in the division. That's not debatable. You have the best quarterback in this division. That's not debatable. You have the best weapons in this division. That's more debatable, but not really. The defense, I don't think, will take a step back at all. If it does, it won't be by much. And I don't see an easy team blank is markedly better than them defensively. So to me, there's no team in the NFL that should more easily win their division than the Atlanta Falcons. What if what
Problem
I just
is,
said
nothing
could you
comes easy to
actually
Atlanta.
dispute?
So the problem is nothing comes easy for Atlanta.
That's
never has, never will.
And that was where I was headed. Is I feel like, look, there was an energy around Atlanta when we were at the Combine, when we were at the draft. There was an energy around Atlanta. They were happy with Raheem Morris. They were happy that Kirk Cousins was in the building. They were happy they were going to be able to get the most out of all these weapons that they've invested high-level capital in. And then you drafted Michael Penix, and I feel like it let every ounce of air out of that balloon.
Still one of those decisions that will forever baffle me. I don't know. The explanation has never added up to why you made the decision that you made. Okay, we'll have somebody to replace Kirk. Awesome. You just signed him for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I know you can get out of it in 2, but does anybody really think that you're making that decision? I mean, unless Kirk Cousins comes out and stinks on ice. Right? He's the worst Kirk Cousins we've ever seen in the NFL. And I get there are some quarterbacks that just fall off the cliff like that. I don't think that's coming for Kirk. So you can't really explain to me that was the right move to make, to sit a quarterback for 3 or 4 years. And then we're doing the Jordan Love thing. And that really, I mean, it has panned out, but don't you think that they would have enjoyed a little bit more of him on the cheaper scale rather than having just 1 year on the rookie contract and then having to pay him big money? It just doesn't. The timeline doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Well, I mean, and would it not have been nice to have had, I don't know, a Quinyon Mitchell?
Sure.
You know, a guy on the other side that can actually legit cover. Because they have 2 slot corners. Clark Phillips and Mike Hughes are both slot corners. They don't have a second guy that comfortably plays on the outside. And that's where it really fell in for me. If you thought he was that good, okay, I guess I could get there. I didn't see it. I never did see it. He's fine, and I think he'll be a fine quarterback in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. And it's not like this was a ready-made roster that didn't still have holes. If you were going to Rome Odunze, would you not like this team better if they had if they had him on the opposite side and you had Mooney and Moore as the 3 and the 4?
Yes.
That would make I would look at this offense and go, good Lord, they're going to be hard to stop. But you didn't do that. It was almost like you went on this big rant that you were committed to making your marriage work, and then you left that and immediately went and had an affair.
Right.
I can't figure out where your head's at.
No, Atlanta is a very talented team. And I do like the roster. I like the build. I just don't know that this is going to be Matt Ryan years. Right? Is this going to be Matt Ryan leads this team deep into the playoffs, maybe get lucky and have a chance at representing the NFC in a Super Bowl? I don't see that out of this team.
The schedule set up nicely. They've got to survive the first 11 weeks. Their last 6, they'll either be favored or less than a field goal dog in all of them. You could go into the playoffs on a 6-game winning streak. I think the team is good. I don't know that I've ever seen so much hope and such a renewed sense of fervor with a team, and just watching them pop the balloon in front of everybody's face.
Yep. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. Time for us to run. We'll be back with you tomorrow right here on 92.9, 880 AM, 1400, and the iHeartRadio app at noon. We'll see you then.
Hey, guys, do you want male performance in the bedroom?
And we're clear.
Get it in 47 seconds or less. For the first time, you can have instant male enhancement. Introducing Knox 47, the topical male enhancement that works in 47 seconds or less. Satisfaction guaranteed. Finally, after years of scientific research, our proprietary formula will allow you to perform in the bedroom like never before. Just imagine that little blue pill on steroids. No reason to settle and wait when you can get instant performance now. Forget about pills and potions that make you wait hours or up to 30 days to work. That's yesterday's news. Knox 47 is brand new. The hottest thing for men. And you don't need a prescription. Call now and get your free supply for a limited time.
To find out how to get Knox 47 for free, call now. 800-481-9908. That's 800-481-9908. Free bottles for limited time. Call 800-481-9908. That's 800-481-9908.
The wait is over. Dell Technologies Black Friday and July deals are live. Check out incredible savings on select laptops and more, like the XPS 15, powered by Intel Core processors. The XPS 15 brings you the perfect balance of power and portability, plus stellar visuals and immersive sound. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to exceptional tech and electronics, plus free shipping on everything. Don't miss out on Black Friday and July savings at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Partly to mostly cloudy through this afternoon with a few scattered showers and thunderstorms as the high hits 86, and then rain should taper off through the evening with clouds and areas of fog overnight and a low dropping down to 70. Not a whole lot of change for Saturday, partly to mostly cloudy. Again, the potential for scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially during the afternoon hours with a high of 86. A little bit warmer wrapping up the weekend on Sunday with scattered showers and thunderstorms and a high close to 88 degrees. I'm Jeff Marr from the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by First Restoration Services.
Fire, flood, wind damage, arguably a homeowner's worst nightmare. For nearly 4 decades, First Restoration Services have been helping people recover from disasters with trust, integrity, speed, and quality. If you have a disaster, call them today, 1-800-537-6151, or online at frs247.com.
ESPN Asheville is WPEK W225CJ Fairview, WMFX Waynesville, an iHeart radio station, the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024